seem professional. Oh, damn it. I stopped that too quick. Crap. Thank you. Oh, I found it. Okay, stop the music.
You found it?
Oops. Welcome. Ah, crap. Welcome, everybody, to... Oh, boomered that. All right. Welcome, everybody, to a stream by the Crossroads. This is Scott from Sporking News Podcast, and we're going to be talking the finale of Season 1 to A House of the Dragon. Finally, some good things to talk about after last episode ending on a sour note, at least for me. But let's first say hello to the panel. We have the lovely, the brave, the smart MrGrantGregory.
Hello. Yeah, happy to be here. I overall opinion on the series is I think we're going in the right direction, though I'm starting to see a few things that I'm little nitpicks are starting to build up a little bit more, but as we'll get into it.
Yeah, we'll get into it.
But no, I'm happy to be talking about something that's not dog shit. So yeah. I mean, Christie would agree with me. We're talking pre-say that she thinks it's her favorite series of all time.
Oh my God, she's like the biggest fan.
God, I thought Tina loved the MCU, but now I realized how much that Chrissy loves this. So it's been a lot of fun to talk about. So
yeah, and we'll have hopefully we'll have Tina on a little bit later to give her thoughts. But the man back from 7 months abroad, Zaxx, how are you, buddy?
I'm good. I'm back from my European tour and ready to talk about some good TV.
Yeah, man, I'm excited. I'm very excited. I'm glad you're here. I am also glad to see the beautiful Jayne Theory. How are you?
Hello. I'm doing great. Happy to be here.
And we're happy to have you, Jayne. You class it up like Mason does too. Mason, how are you? Freedom of the fan. Introduce yourself, because I just screwed up your name.
Hi, everybody. It's good to be here. Hello to all you guys in the chat. I can't wait to talk about this episode. I think I was probably going to have a little bit different of an opinion than some of the other people on here, but I'm excited to talk about it. Yeah.
All right, brother. Thank you for being here. And as always, your mic sounds better before we start, and then all of a sudden it gets... I don't get that, but you, my friend, you're always welcome here. You are OG on this panel. And the biggest fan in... House of Thrones. Oh my God. House of the Dragon.
I was so waiting for you to fuck up and say, dude, like, season finale of Game of Thrones. I was so waiting on that.
Could I say the
Rings of Thrones?
My mistake was like 4 or 5 days ago saying my kid sleeps through the night, and like even though my wife gets up and does most of the work, I have not been sleeping well, so I'm going to make a lot of those mistakes. But Christie, how are you?
Oh, I'm loving just your fantastic presentation.
Thank you.
And just the coordination of your live streaming and the flawlessness of what comes out of your mouth.
And the knowledge of history.
And your knowledge of history and
Socrates.
Yep. Even though it's Plato.
Very soon there's going to be a couple new shirts. It'll be Socrates of the Bible. And there's also going to be one that says, I'm not racist, just ignorant. because I guess that made people laugh the other night too.
Great show.
So yeah. And we have a beautiful chat tonight. We have Katina Martin is in the house. The lovely Sherry, the memer of memes, is here. Hopefully she memes us up. Shane Nolan, Eric K, Brightest Days. I saw him too. One of my boys. Tim F is here. We also have Alex Moore. Thank you for being here. Tim's Talk. Tim is awesome. He'll be having a live stream, I believe, in the next couple nights. And I'm going to try my best to join him if I can. I don't know if I will be able to, but I will try. But if I can't, I will be in the chat. So I hope you're there too. Tim's a good dude. Follow his Instagram. He really does look like, I was about to say Ray. Oh my God. Solo. Ben Solo, that is. He does a lot of cosplay like that stuff. We have also Brahma Bulls in the house. One of the, I actually think one of the best things on Comics Division's channel is Brahma Bull. He just looks so cool. Smoking his cigarette, having his alcohol. It's all neat. How do you feel about that, Grant?
I mean, I'm part of that panel too, so I mean,
yeah, I know.
Wounds, I mean, it cuts deep as almost as much as you forgetting to introduce Jayne.
I did introduce Jayne, you moron. Right, Jayne? I said the lovely Jayne.
You did.
Thank you. Brent Sanders is in the house. This is going really well. Joseph Dredd is there. And other people here like Bosch and Severin and, Adega Outlaw. Oh, it's nice to see you, man. It's been a while. And we're going to move on because Keith Howard's ready to go and Banana Facts wants us to do this. And so does Cultural Science. That is weird.
Culture sentient weave.
Sentient?
Sentient.
Yeah, or sentient.
I am not good with words.
Or history.
Or, excuse me, sir. Socrates was somewhere there. He was.
Socrates.
So we're going to do what we usually do. We're going to go around the panel and ask everybody out of 10 what they thought of the episode. Just so you know, we do reference the book up to where it is in the show. There may be minor spoilers, and if we can help it, I will make sure to put like a spoiler thing, but not everybody on the panel has read it all either, so we don't want to do that for you, but we will compare how they changed the book to the show. We will start with Christie, because I would love to hear what she rated this final episode. What did you think?
Actually, I gave it a 4 out of 10.
Wow, that's high for you. Oh my God.
I did. I mean, with this series, I hate the series, but there are scenes in this and there's dialogue and just cinematography and everything that's actually really great. It's just overall, I'm just like, no. But I won't. I'm not gonna be a meanie. I've actually calmed down a little bit since the beginning when this first started. I'm so mad. I even logged off Twitter now.
Yeah. I get it. And that's why I like having you on the panel though, because I don't want, like, it's nice to have people that disagree, you know, like we don't all have to like it in the same way, but like we'll say, like, I'm going to give it a decent score, but I'm still going to rip it apart. So it's the weirdest thing. Like I could tear a show apart, but if I could still love what I saw. But Mason, what did you think out of 10?
So I have a few problems with this ending. But overall I still enjoyed it. It's still probably sitting at like a 7 or so. But
okay.
I think they did a few jumps with some of the character development. And I want to, once we get into it, I want to talk about that.
Good. And make sure you jump in, Mason.
All right.
Don't wait for me to call on you, man. Be a Brahma Bull. Did we put a poll up yet? On the okay, do you mind doing that? We'll ask what the chat thought of it. Jayne, what did you give this?
I give it an 8.5 out of 10. Yeah. There was a lot to love about this episode, just like with the series. But here's the thing. I do not like what they've done with the female characters. And we'll get into it. But you have an instance where they should be more masculine in the degree to which they are.
Yes.
For a change.
Yep.
And they have played them into these poor, pitiful, little, vulnerable, innocent, nurturing, like
Yeah.
they're not timid little things. Like that's
Yep.
not who they are. And I get that this is supposed to be a different telling, like the true telling, but I don't think it's that. I think it's the writers of the show. Not
yes. You know what, Jayne, we are going to get into it because the differences like from the book to the show, they make these women weak and meek almost. And like, it's not their fault. They just living in a man's world, but we'll get into it. But yeah, I agree with you on that. There's a couple characters and there's also something I caught that really is bothering me. And, we'll get to it when we get to that part. It's at the very end, actually. Zaxx, what did you think?
I liked it. It was probably 7.5. Still a great show, but same issues that Jayne just talked about have bothered me since the last episode. So 9 and 10. Just, I want the female characters to be, they say strong things, they present as strong, but they're not making the Game of Thrones level strong decisions at the time they should make them. And instead, they're kind of waiting and trying to be sympathetic and have everything else be one of the male characters who pushes things over the edge. I want to see them make that first move. I know the books, like I did listen to the book quite a while ago, but I want to see claws out, basically. I want to see, like, this is Game of Thrones. Let's do this now.
Yeah.
But maybe next season. My concern is that it's going to keep going this way. I hope it doesn't.
No, well, for me at least, and Grant, you might agree, it can't. It can't, like...
It shouldn't.
It shouldn't. And I want to say they tried to give us that with Rhaenyra at the end. But Grant, what did you give it?
I'm a lot lower. Actually, I gave it a 5. I thought it wasn't a great finale. It had a good ending. But yeah,
a 5, really?
Yeah, I think overall, when I went back and watched it the second time, it was the first time that it felt like an actual chore to go back through and watch it.
Wow, man! I'm actually pretty shocked.
Yeah, I like the series as a whole overall. I just didn't. I think that this whole episode was just built up for just that one little scene at the end.
Yeah.
That scene. Yeah, the birthing scene. That was a hard one to watch.
That was rough.
Yeah, the wrapping of the little one. That kind of got to me a bit.
They even did that wrong though, and we'll get into it right away, pretty much. So, crap. So we start the episode, and I'm going to bring this up because I love doing this. We start the episode with Luke at the table, which I guess Danny never figured out you can actually light it up.
I was thinking the same thing. Like, did they forget over time that you could light it?
Right. Well, she never lived there. You know what I mean? Like, she was a baby. So I wonder if that's just like they'll try to play it off as that. But I would be like, what's that underneath?
No, it's all the soot from the smoke. From the smoke, it probably stopped it from doing it.
Yeah.
So, but I mean, who thinks to light underneath a giant table?
Right, that's true. Mason, you're right. Say that again.
Stannis forgot it too, and he was in charge of the castle.
Yeah, he was there for quite a while too. That's true. I didn't even think about that.
Honestly, I think this is a show adaptation of what they did. I do not believe that was even thought of before in Game of Thrones.
Oh yeah, I mean a lot of things are the show's version.
Just quick in chat, Shane Nolan says it's a different table. I don't know.
Is it really?
I thought so too, but I wasn't for sure.
I don't know.
I mean, it is made out of stone, though. The table is a stone table, correct? In the other one too, right?
I think.
Yeah, I don't know.
I would like it better if it's the same table because I like how you have because things do change over almost 200 years.
Mm-hmm.
So you can imagine that they did just collectively forget. I prefer that than it being a new table.
Yeah, I would like to see, maybe we can get a comparison shot. That'd be pretty cool. Okay, so Grant, I'm sorry. Can you put those in the chat too? Thank you, buddy.
Yep, no worries.
I could barely keep my head on straight tonight. So they're Luke and Rhaenyra are talking, and the scene is he doesn't want to be, Driftmark, the ruler of Driftmark. Which
I don't want it. I think is what he said.
Yeah, I don't want it, my queen. But
I literally said she's my queen. He said that.
But like, I have to say something. Like, the kid has a valid point. Like, I almost feel like Rhaenyra's like, well, I also had, was said to be the next or the queen, and it was a lot for me. But he's like, but you chose that. Like, you forced this on me, but you chose that. You accepted that. I didn't have to. I don't remember her actually like. I thought it was like he was like, I'm going to make you my heir.
It's duty. I mean, I think she's entirely right. He would be afraid. He would be concerned, and he feels he isn't adequate. I mean, he's 13? So yeah, he's not anywhere near where he would be confident in his ability to take on that responsibility. But it is his duty. He is going to be the Lord of Driftmark. So start teaching him. Send him over there to foster. Right. That's what you would normally do.
Right. I agree.
It's not too late to learn to how the Navy works. Like, he's still just a kid.
Yeah.
Well, in this world, he's a man. He's 14.
Well, they're also assuming that what's his name, Corlys isn't going to make it, so therefore he would automatically be taking over right now.
That's
right. So I get that fear in him that he's just like, I can't even go out yet. I haven't even been taught anything.
He wouldn't, though. I mean, he would have the title, but he would not be the one making the decisions. It would be no different than if Rhaenyra died. Yeah, that would be a regent.
Yeah.
Well, it wouldn't be his uncle.
No. But
Rhaenys,
I mean,
Rhaenys,
yeah. It could even be Rhaenys. Like, it just has to be someone to make the final decisions and teach him, like, why they did that. But, like, it's another thing, too, and it comes in later. And I don't mind if we jump around. We'll just pass if we get to the point. But like, when she decides to send the boys, like, they are like, do you not like realize like everybody in the darn kingdom thinks they're bastards? Why would you send them? Like,
that was the thing. And see, they didn't include this in the show, and I feel like that was an oversight. Because the boys explain why it makes sense. I mean, looking back on it, it's still kind of ridiculous. But the idea is that if they're seen as dragon riders, who can question their legitimacy?
And I get that, but it's also they didn't just talk about legitimacy. They talked about like the dragon is something that people can fear. But do they think that the Greens aren't doing the same thing? Like, they're not going to fly their dragons around and like put pressure on people?
That was the stupid part.
Yeah.
That was the oversight. I just feel like, especially for Baratheons, you send a Baratheon. Like, why would you send these kids when you have Rhaenys right there?
Right.
True. Yeah.
And go ahead, Zach, please.
I was gonna say, I think the casting of these two boys, the Strongs, I think that kind of hurts my ability to buy into that you would send this kid to go do that thing, because they're so small. Like, these kids look tiny. And so that bothers me.
On that, I don't believe that they're Harwin's kids.
Yeah, right, because he's like strong.
He was. Yeah. He's as strong as his brother is freaky. But yeah, like I don't buy, because they are very physically. I mean, they look like it with the hair and everything. But yeah,
Shane just put it. Luke is supposed to be taller than Jace, or. No, he is. Is the kid actually taller in the show? I thought like
no,
Luke was a big kid for his age.
Jace is taller.
Yeah, in the show.
Yeah.
Yeah, but in the books, I'm pretty sure Luke is big for his age.
Luke is huge.
Yeah.
Just like his father.
Yeah. But the show makes us like, okay, the books, again, certain people say that people were whispering about them being, bastards. That's why it was such a big deal when Aemon called them strong. But in the show, everybody, there's not even the king. He knows they're bastards, but he won't admit it to himself. Like, everybody knows.
I know. I'm going to go back to what Grant said, is because if you look with Jocelyn Baratheon, who was Princess Rhaenys' mother, she has dark hair and dark eyes, and Rhaenys herself should have been portrayed as having somewhat dark hair and not the silver gray hair.
No, she has dark hair. It's like black.
That's what I'm saying.
No, I'm with you on that. And
completely misses the point, because even though it said in the book that they were probably bastards anyway, even with that. but it still would have given a little bit more legitimacy in
Absolutely.
the show.
Mhm.
Is if I think that with the Baratheons themselves,
Yep.
because if you
Like-
had shown Jocelyn or people had mentioned that
Mhm.
type thing,
Yep.
I don't know.
Well, you're absolutely right. Like Jayne and I have talked about this. If you made, like, okay, go ahead, make the Valerians black. That's fine. But Rhaenyra, if you're going to do that, Rhaenys has to have dark hair, because that is like your one, okay, they have dark hairs because their grandmother's a Baratheon.
Especially because they set up the Valyrians as being all silver haired, like with no
Yes,
exception.
exactly.
So if you're going to play it that the hair is what matters,
Yep.
then you have to make their grandmother have dark hair. It doesn't make any sense.
Yep. I want to go to this because lots of criticism on a show that actually regained viewership from the saltiness we all had for Game of Thrones. Sherpa, it's like good it's like we're criticizing it, yes, but we still all like it. I actually loved this season.
Oh, no,
thought it
I
was-
don't.
Oh, I know you don't.
She doesn't.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed the show.
Yes.
But this is where I keep getting. I get the pushback because I'm critical of the decisions that they made.
Well, because
I think it would be pretty boring if everybody just loved everything they did and it was all perfect.
Well,
It's not.
criticisms aren't necessarily a negative
Attack. It's
either.
not an
That's
attack,
that's the point. It's just like, when you're watching something like, say, for instance, Star Wars, you're like, oh, wouldn't it be cool if we just saw more fights or anything? You're being critical of it. You're not saying it's bad or anything like that. You're just saying that you wish it went a different route. That's your own opinion. And if you can justify it, then it's an actual proper criticism. Otherwise, it's just your own headcanon and everything. And we're all guilty of that to some extent, especially because one, we've read the books and everything like that, and we enjoyed what we saw because it was our first experience with it. Where a lot of people are the complete opposite. It doesn't mean that nitpicking isn't like being a naysayer for the show.
Right.
I still enjoy the show. I just thought with how strong some of the previous episodes would be, that this one was going to be there. That's completely on my own expectations.
See, but I really enjoyed it. I enjoyed how okay.
But
yeah, go ahead, please.
I was just gonna say one thing I do like though about people's reactions to the criticism of the show is that they are fighting the fight. Like to the last breath, they are defending the show. You don't see that.
No.
In any of these other shows where they try to pretend that it's supposed to be so popular and that people like it and everybody literally hate it.
Right.
Like
unless it's like
and
shippers. You know what I mean? Like, unless it's shippers, but like, this is like us actually having a show again that we can argue about and still respect each other because we're not attacking each other over it.
Exactly.
Like,
Jayne literally just punched her own fist, like her own hand.
I heard it.
Like that's what I'm saying. Like this is a good sort of discourse.
Yes,
that we're
this is
having.
what we want. So please, guys, get involved in the chat too. Like, just be respectful. That's all I ask. We got 36 people watching. Thank you very much. Hit like, share it out. Let's get more people in here. There might be others stopping by.
Yeah.
What else I do like too is that people are picking sides again. Like I know that people are picking houses and taking stands in the show. Like I love it.
I was literally about to say, be respectful, except for those stupid Team Blacks.
This is the kind of debate and discussion that I've been looking forward to having. Like this framing this way, and these are good faith arguments, and it's enjoyable no matter what. You're not putting each other down, nothing like that. This is good nerd talk right here.
Right, Tina, jump in. It's great nerd talk. It's fun again. It's not us fighting about the message and how we're toxic and this and that. It's like there is a message in it. I don't agree with everything they did, but it's because of the decisions they changed from the book. But there's also parts that I was like, wow, that's way better than what the book did. Like I like it better.
Even that end part of it. I know we're not up to it yet, but Aemon's reaction. At first, I hated that, but I actually kind of like it now.
Oh, see, that's where I'm going to disagree with you.
Yes, yeah. See, because I was just like, okay, so it's playing into a little bit more about the lack of control and everything, and it's not all that. He's essentially along for the ride. We got to know Aemon a little bit more as a character, and not just as a figure in history.
Yeah, but you know what bothers me though with that, man, and I'm sorry to interrupt you. I should have muted myself. What bothers me is, and that was something I was going to bring up, like, again, from the books, we've had at least 2 episodes in a row where murders have happened that were accidents. Like,
yeah, or undone entirely.
right, like Cole. He
Sir
you know,
Crispin.
Sir Kristen Cole. It was an accident. He killed him by throwing him down on the ball. You know, Aemon didn't mean to have Vhagar kill Jace. Like, no one takes it responsibility. It's like it was all mistakes that led up to the Civil War, where like in the books there was decisions made. You know, like Cole was more in it. Go ahead.
I
please.
like what they did with Aemon though, only because as evil as we sort of see him trying to be, we haven't really seen him do anything evil.
No, he's not.
So it's believable when you step back away from his image that he portrays.
Yeah.
To understand that it is an image, at least as of right now.
Yeah.
Now after this, who knows? But
this
point,
could be the turning point.
Right.
Yeah,
Sorry, Chris, you go.
No, go
Christie
ahead.
and Mason. Okay, Mason first.
So the thing with the dragons is it kind of brings the thing that Viserys said, like our control of these dragons is imaginary.
Oh yeah.
You can kind of point them in a direction, but like Vhagar was feeling all of the hatred that Aemon has for Luke.
Yep.
So as soon as he got close, killed him.
Oh, your mic dropped out, buddy. You still there?
Can you still hear me?
Barely.
Yep.
How about now?
Yeah, okay, better. Go for it, buddy.
So, like, you can point a dragon in a certain direction, but you cannot, like, control it to the degree that he was thinking he could.
Mm-hmm.
I forgot where I was going. I think
No, Mason, you have you were going really a good way, because dragons and their riders have a almost telepathic, what's the one for like feelings, not telepathic,
Empathic.
but empathic. They have like an empathic ability where if like where Luke was nervous, the dragon got nervous, and that's why it shot fire, because it senses his fear. And yeah.
No, I took it that scene is going to be one of the most debated scenes, because
Yes.
I took it completely differently. I took it like, yes, the kids can't control the dragons, and I think that's because their bond, even though they have a bond, that psychic connection probably takes years to develop.
Right.
And they haven't had that, so they're not like Daemon and Rhaenys, where they can do nothing. They can stand there and control their dragon from a distance.
Right.
These kids aren't there yet, so that's part of it. The other part of it is that the dragons are also protective of their riders, especially because they're kids.
Yes.
So I can imagine that Arax just said, you know what, this dragon is threatening my rider. I'm going to attack back to tell him to basically knock it off, like leave us alone. And Vhagar, being an old warrior, took that as a challenge, and things got out of hand very quickly. Like, I think that was a conversation of sorts happening between the dragons, independent of the writers in that moment.
Yeah. Oh, I see what you're saying. I mean, Vhagar is a cranky old lady. You know what I mean? Like, and that young dragon hit her. Nothing Aemon could have done.
You shouldn't have gone up on a porch.
Right. Was going to
Making
stop
all that noise.
What bothers me, and maybe I'll bring it up when we get closer to that, because
I really want to say something in that whole aspect of Storm's End. There's so much more.
Oh no, say it, because it's part of the book.
Well,
like
so
the daughters, right?
The four daughters.
Yeah,
they completely missed that.
Yep.
Because I still remember it, because when the scene played, I was like, okay, Maris is going to say something. That's who that is. That's Maris. Because she taunted Aemon when he was going at Luke, saying, "What did he take one of his eyes, or did he take one of his balls?"
All because she was mad. Because she was mad because she wasn't picked by Aemon.
Yeah.
She wasn't
Exactly.
picked,
Yeah.
And that
she shouldn't have been born the
my
second
whole
season.
that's my whole criticism of it. And another thing, when they're in the skies, you can talk about the dragons with their riders and all of that stuff, sensing the danger. I don't give a shit, because in the scene itself, Aemon is literally screaming, "Boy, where are you?" and taunting him.
Yeah.
So you can justify that all you want with that taunting and stuff like that. To me, that goes out the window, because the whole feeling
not going to hear him.
But we see it though. That's the point.
I get that.
And with how y'all are talking about the drivers, good grief, the dragons, and like with getting to their emotion of their writers and stuff like that. Yes, and I agree with Jayne about how you have to build the connection and stuff like that. So, in my way, I think Vhagar was just being Vhagar. I mean, let's be
reacted.
Yeah, this was a dragon who was one of the ones. Wasn't she one of the conquerors?
Yes.
Dragon.
Yeah,
so she has that
cool.
history of burning entire towns. I mean, you don't play with her like that.
She ain't no joke.
She ain't no joke. She over here thought Luke was Dornish, and she wanted, and she was getting back from Visenya.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
It's not Visenya. Rhaenys when she was killed.
So I mean, she literally burned her last rider, so you know she doesn't fuck around.
No, she don't. She don't.
Yeah.
But yeah, sorry, I think I said what I was saying with his reaction. I wasn't saying that that he didn't mean to do it. I think he was shocked in the moment, like, oh shit, I just realized what I've done.
That I agree with.
It was like the realization, like, oh, I fucked up.
Yeah.
Well, but no, Oh, go ahead. Hey, Tina, how are you?
Oh, I'm doing wonderful. Thanks for letting me join.
Of course.
I was gonna say, did you notice that all of a sudden, Aemon, when he got worried, he wasn't speaking Old Valyrian anymore.
Yeah.
He was saying, turn. No, stop. You know.
I was gonna
Vhagar.
ask, is no the same in Valyrian as it is in, I guess, the common tongue?
I don't think so, and it might be, but I don't think so. But you know what? That's a really good catch. I didn't even think about that. Like, Vhagar's like, I don't know what the fuck he's saying, but I'm gonna bite this son bitch. Grandma needs some steak, you know? Yeah.
Should have cooked it first.
Right.
She needs some chicken.
That would have been crazy if she had roasted the other dragon.
Well, right. And we said it just a second ago, like, or backstage, maybe we were talking about it. She probably didn't eat him because they usually cook what they eat. So that was just pure, I'm going to rip this apart and spit it out. That was warrior Vhagar.
Yeah.
But okay. So we talked about that. We'll probably come back to that again, because this is the scene where it all starts going downhill for the Blacks at the moment. Rhaenys comes in and explains why she didn't.
Bedside manner of any character.
Oh my God, she sucks.
I can't stand her. They have made me completely dislike her character.
Oh my God, yeah. She's always like has this smirk on her face, like, hey, you're winning me over, kid. So she comes in, she lets Rhaenyra know that her dad died, that Aegon became king, and was crowned king. And they first, well, how did you get out of there? Blah, blah, blah. But what I loved was Daemon's reaction. The first thing he went to was, Allison poisoned my brother. She killed him.
That's a stupid ass reaction.
But that's his.
It really was.
Rhaenys did nothing to appease her. Didn't say, well, we don't know or anything. Just said nothing. So he's going to be like, yeah, I knew it. That's right. Like that's essentially a confirmation.
Yeah.
I actually like that his hand immediately went to his sword when she said it, and he was like, but how did you get out? I actually like that part because I felt like he would have slit her throat if she didn't say the right thing.
Right. So what her reaction, okay, maybe I can get it to where I'll bring up the poll and some super chats or super tips in a minute, but I want to get to the part where she like admits like why she didn't do it, and you could have burned them all. Oh, here it is.
Exactly. Question I had.
A war is like to be fought over this treachery. To be sure. Okay, yeah, that makes sense. That really makes sense there, Rhaenys. Okay, Daemon's about to kill you. He's really upset. But that war is not mine to begin.
I just killed your cousin, your blood. That's what you believe. It's already happened. They've usurped the throne. The same thing that happened to you has now happened again.
But not even that. They locked you up and were most likely, if you didn't bend the knee, killing you.
And killed Ally. Right. She saw that as she was getting out of the courtyard.
Yes.
They were going to kill you. They were going to take your dragon.
You just killed a bunch of people yourself.
Right.
Exactly. Like, okay, well, you know what? Here's the thing. I didn't want to kill them because they had too much money.
Right. Right. I didn't want to
There's
kill
no
him because I was hungry. You know, like there's no reason with what she's saying.
And later in the show, not to jump too far ahead, but she says to Corlys, as long as Aegon has the crown, our children, our grandchildren are in danger. So she knows she could have stopped all that right then.
Yep. And Shane puts it perfectly. By her coming up through the floor, she declared war already.
That's exactly right. Yep.
Yeah.
You know?
So what?
Not that anybody will
made no
remember, but we know.
This was nonsensical.
No, again, going back to that episode, and I hate to harp on episode 9, but like that was one of the, like this show would be probably like the season would be an 8 for me if they didn't do that in the penultimate episode. Like force that. Like that was one of the dumbest moments ever.
They didn't need it. They didn't need it because she has a moment coming in the future that's epic, and they didn't need to do this.
Absolutely. She has her moment, you know, and to do this was dumb. What do you think there, Tina, about that moment?
I don't know. I respect the point that she was coming from. I respect her not wanting to make the decision on behalf of the queen, because maybe it's just, Otto Hightower that's trying to raise Aegon up, and Alicent is really innocent in the whole thing. I mean, what did Rhaenys really know about that? Did she think that the queen would be upset with her if she killed her best friend,
and her brothers?
But she's smart enough, Tina, to know that like her coming up through the ground and killing all those dirty peasants. I know they don't really matter, but
because they're that's filthy and they're poor.
Yeah, and they're fleas. I mean, it's called flea bottom. Think about it. You know, like you pretty much already declared war. Like I guess you could talk. Yeah,
a better answer would have just been that she didn't want to kill her cousins.
Yeah, she says, "I'm no kinslayer." That's all she had to say.
Yeah,
I'm no kinslayer.
Yeah, and I do like what Tina said. Like she didn't want to be the one that made the decision. That makes sense. It makes it a little bit better, but not good enough for me.
Is her armor on the dragon? Because she didn't have it before she went down in the pit. Something that I was just all.
No, she found it down there. Like
she probably left it down there.
Yeah, like I'm guessing, like she got naked.
It's kind of like when you go down to the stables and some things. I mean, you can have your your leather chaps that you put on over your jeans.
Oh yeah.
You can have your hat and your purdy shirt with the.
All right.
The jiggers, I forget what they call it, with the tie with the strings.
I'm poor. I don't know what goes on in the stable. So
Laenor has assless chaps hanging down there. Zaxx.
Yeah,
all chaps are assless.
It's true.
Oh yeah.
So the thing is too is that had last episode happened and then they changed the story because they're kind of redoing everything as it is and retconning it regardless. If she did this for a Machiavellian reason to start a war and then try to take herself and her part of the family out of it and let them if that was at least her plan, even though it's a bad plan, if she was to have that be the real reason, I could have bought into that. But by doing what she did, she put her whole family in danger. Then she declared sides with the other side when she could have ended it right there and then declared or stayed out of it and watched the two sides fight.
I don't think she would have been able to stay. I think if she stayed there, she would have been killed.
No, I mean like take off.
Allowed to die, like other people have in the dungeons.
Oh no, I mean like escaping with the dragon.
Then they would be stupid if they did that then, because she would make a valuable hostage against House Valerion.
Right.
No, I mean the choice that when she decided not to kill everybody when she hit her dragon.
Well, other than the hundreds of peasants.
Right. Yeah. Right. Not killing them important. So if she just flies away with her dragon at that point without killing them, then she starts a war. And she goes and hides somewhere, takes her family and goes with her dragon and waits it out. Like that would have been at least a plan.
She could have done that, yeah.
Yeah, but look, in a world of I get it. I mean, in a world of honor, I understand. Actually, you have a valid point. She doesn't know if her husband's going to live or die. You know, like that comes up in a little bit. She just has her girls left, her grandchildren left, actually. So like, I could see her not siding with anybody. But she gives us that smile like, I'm watching all through this episode, like, you're impressing me.
The other problem is that her grandchildren have now been betrothed to Rhaenyra's
Right.
kid.
That's true.
They're not leaving.
You're right.
Yeah. You're in it.
It would have been all her.
I like to take a second to do a couple super chats. So we got Boobs tipped $3 and says Scott's boomer ass. I think that was from the very beginning. Thank you, Boobs, for the $3. Mr. Grant Gregory tipped $1.48. Have fun in Orlando. Don't get the pox or kidnapped. Thank you, sir. I am not going to like someplace in Mexico.
Don't get bit by an alligator.
That is true.
Well,
I
didn't want him to, not have fun.
Yes,
So.
and I can still use.
Knowing Scott's ass, he'll get kidnapped, and they'll get so annoyed with him, they'll bring him back.
No, they'll pay my family. So I just want you to know, still taking tips for Orlando. I fly out on Friday. I had a great last Saturday. We raised a lot of money, and then an automatic charge came out that I forgot to turn to my other account. So, if you want to keep giving me money, I'm good with that. I'm a dad. I'm dumb. I forget things. Got to take care of the darn family. The poll also, the majority of people gave it a 7 to 8. Which I think a lot of people fall in between. 9 to 10 though was the next highest, which I didn't see actually, but I'm glad people are enjoying it that much. And there was one other super chat from Mr. Grant Gregory for $1.48. He said, "Have fun." Oh, that was that one. Okay, let's go on. I am a freaking shot. So she does this, and then all of a sudden, instant. She kicks in. And I love how Daemon just questions her right away. Like, not just like, he's ready. Daemon is ready. And you kind of see like, he doesn't know how to react to things. He's terrible with his feelings. So all he could think about is, I will destroy anybody who gets in my way, like, and not his family's way. We see down the road a little bit, but his way. Like he, you know what I mean? Like it's an afterthought. Rhaenyra and everybody else.
Well, I think they're a second.
That's why I'm an afterthought. A second. Okay, we'll say a second thought.
They're second, then everybody else.
Right.
He will slaughter without pause.
Yeah. So she kicks into overdrive and starts premature birth.
Yeah.
And then I'm gonna just skip this for purposes. But we get the whole.
I actually didn't. That was another change I felt could have been different because again, they're making her very much a victim. When in the book, she's cursing and cursing everybody. She's going to kill everybody, and she's cursing the baby and everybody else. Like
she calls it a monster.
Yep, she calls it a monster. Get this monster out of me. She I'm going to kill Alicent pretty much.
But they couldn't do it because they set her up as, they're mothers and that's their bond and all this crap.
And it lasted 5 days too, as well.
Exactly.
Yeah, it did in the book. Yep. Tina, what did you think about this scene in whole with the birthing? And then on top of that, not just the birthing part of it, but also Daemon trying to talk through it and have a war council.
The only thing that I could equate it to is I was in labor. Well, my grandfather was dying, same hospital, can't get there from here kind of situation. So, the family that's with you, wants to be with him because, you're going to be there 6 hours from now. He's probably not. And it was a very lonely, focused action, and you're in all this pain, and you have all of this, the weight of your family on your shoulders and on your mind, and and then things start to get worse and worse and worse. So yes, so I was cursing my child, come on, get out, be born.
Yeah.
I need you out of me because I have something to do. So it's like you're kind of insulting, you're trying to
get through it.
Yes. Just so you can, you can move on to what the next tragedy is going to be.
Right.
Right. And then having another child 2 years later, which was normal, wasn't an emergency C-section, didn't need to have lots of people in your way trying to bother you and, tell you this is the best way, no, that's the best way, and blah, 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 blah. I couldn't imagine doing all of that while fearing for my entire family and trying to make a decision that in one way or another is going to get thousands of people killed.
Right. I like what you're putting there. What did you guys think about her in the background, like screaming as the men are trying to plan for war? Like, I felt like almost Daemon's talking through it, but everyone in that room's thinking, we have a woman in charge. And right now she's like, it's almost like at her worst moment, they all were able to look in through the door and hear it. It's like, she's a woman. She's not a man. She's screaming in the back. I thought that was kind of a big moment there.
But that's why I didn't like it.
Yeah, same here.
What they would have heard her screaming was cursing like a sailor and talking about how she was going to kill everyone and everything. And I feel like that would have actually probably scared them more than anything.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
As opposed to them thinking, oh God, there's a woman giving birth.
With what we know with Daemon's character, I was completely unshocked when he chose not to even go in there and just do the council itself. And I wasn't surprised by that. In my opinion, that was just his way of just dealing.
Oh no, yeah, definitely. No,
he wasn't like that with Lena. Like, this is what they don't know what they want to do with these characters. He wasn't like that with Lena. He was right there.
Yeah.
By her side.
Yes.
The entire time.
Well, go ahead, Mason.
There's two things that are weighing on Daemon right now. Number one, his family is in charge, and number two, his brother just died, and he suspects that there was foul play in his brother's death. So he's doing what he knows. He's going back to what he knows to both grieve and try to avenge his family. He's setting up the patrols around the island and setting up defenses in case they do get sieged. He goes back to what he knows.
Keep going, brother. I'm sorry.
Yes.
I'm sorry. We can knock you off so easily, but that's a true statement. That's a true statement. I'm the third wheel. Hey guys, like Jayne and I hang out, and then she's like walking through the halls with Gary, and hey Jayne, hey Gary, and she's like, oh, that guy's a nerd, and she's like, yeah, he's a nerd. And I'm like, oh no, Jayne, like one of those moments. Like, it's not even a Hallmark; it's like an after-school special.
Go
ahead, buddy.
Daemon has the line of, we all grieve in our own ways from season or episode, I think 1 or 2.
Oh, after Viserys asks him. Yeah.
The air for a day.
See, I'm not even talking about the grieving, because it's smart that he's running a war. Like, they need to be prepared. Yeah. What I'm saying is every man in that room is listening to like their queen at the worst moment of her life, probably. And she sounds weak. And I don't mean that in a disrespectful way, but to these men, where boys take over for their fathers, it's a man's world. Like, a woman giving birth and in a lot of pain, like, she's just screaming in the background. Like, I wonder how many of the guys around the table were like, God, if Daemon wasn't here right now, I'd just walk the frig out and get the hell out of here. Like,
you think that's part of why she didn't accept help?
No, but I think that's why he held them all together in a war council.
I think she didn't accept help because she was going to get that child out of her if she had to cut it out herself.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I think that part of Daemon's reasons could be that he's seen this before. He didn't really want to see this again, and he had other stuff he could do that, like, he could be in control of, because the last time it didn't work out when he was in control of it. And so it's a kind of he had the license to be distracted, maybe.
Yeah, he had to take care of this business. I mean, just because she was giving birth didn't mean that they didn't have a war to plan.
Yeah,
right.
It's not like there's much he could do besides give moral support in the room with Rhaenyra, but this is something he can actively do to protect his family.
Oh yeah, I think it was the smartest thing he could do. And you see him looking at the other lords when she's screaming. Like, you're like, I want to say it. It's trying to show that he's holding it all together while she's going through all this. Like, it's not him being disrespectful. It's actually him looking at all these other men like, you're not leaving. We're going to, like, yes, she's a woman. Yes, you hear her screaming because she's giving birth. None of you are going to have second thoughts. Yeah. At least that's what I got from the moment. Tina, did you get anything from that?
Was a tough one. I mean, this was the one I think I was still having an emotional breakdown about the previous scene.
Right. Yeah. Damon's a weird. I love the character, and Matt Smith has brought more to him than the books have given us. Like
he's definitely more developed and much more well-rounded. And I did like that they delved into more aspects of his personality. He's not just a hitman, because that's how Rhaenyra kind of used him.
Yep.
In the books to kill off whoever she wanted dead.
Yep.
And here you see him. It's more emotional side. I did appreciate that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. He's definitely more emotional, and I think because of everything that's happened, he'd rather put himself into doing something else than dealing with the emotional side of things at the moment. He knows that she's going through hell at the moment. It's just like, it doesn't matter. I can't do anything about that. I'm absolutely helpless about that scenario. What am I going to do? Just sit there and watch her? No, we've got to get something done. I'm going to be proactive. I'm going to be able to do something. I'm going to do the one thing in the world that I need to do, and that's not feel useless.
Mm-hmm.
I couldn't. This is the way I couldn't help my brother when he was the king. This is the way I can help my wife when she's the queen.
Yeah.
Yeah. And Mark, I agree with that. Like it definitely is. That's something that worries me about the series, how they have made like Jayne has said it multiple times on this stream, that Rhaenyra is like the female version at times of Daemon. Like she is the fire and blood Targaryen.
Viserys,
the fire of the dragon. That's the whole point.
Yeah, Viserys said it. Yep. I mean,
and also, I still think they're going to make Rhaenys the Hand. I don't know why. I got no proof or anything of it. That I just think that's going to be coming up next season.
Yeah, man, that would suck.
I don't know. I just feel it.
Yeah, that would be a terrible decision.
I missed these episodes with you guys, but I want to say quick. I love Viserys and what they did with him in this show. How great of an actor is Paddy Considine? Who knew that?
The dude needs like 3 Emmys just for best actor. Like he deserves more than the one he'll get.
He won't even be nominated. You watch.
I would be so upset because the simple fact is, like, Viserys as a character, just in the book itself, is just blah. It was Paddy's performance that made people actually look up this character and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah, and like the pain and everything that he took into it, like when he's talking about how his mother was on her deathbed and she was diabetic and she lost her limbs and everything, and that moment and the pain that he saw in her about having to, and he said, I just took that moment and I went with that in that reverse position. Like that's something that you can't really teach. And yeah, like I just think I think everything that he did to this role, mate, because I always said he was the king. He was the king who waited to die. That's all he was. That's the only way that I viewed him. Didn't make a decision. I'm just gonna sit there and die
and drink and die. Like he was. I mean, you're absolutely right. In the books, I got the sense that he was too indecisive, too worried his decisions would, like certain decisions would cause friction, and never really dealt with the issue, even though the show made it more forceful that like, this is my heir. But in the books, it was like, he just started drinking after his wife died. And then
drinking and telling stories of the past. His head was never in the present.
Right. So yeah, I think at this point, I agree with how Daemon is dealing with this. Going down a little bit into the episode though, when Rhaenyra decides that I'm going to give my dad's path a chance. He is speaking over like her. He's speaking as the king instead of as, allowing her to make decisions. And there's a couple scenes that it kind of comes through and she like stares at him like, but it's too meek to say anything. That's not Rhaenyra in the books.
She was entirely in control of her council and they just nerfed her.
Yeah.
Yeah, they were afraid of it. That was the point, because she was the fire of the dragon, and like he was an extension of her.
Sorry.
of her anger. Essentially, that's the way I viewed it.
Yeah.
Rhaenyra is known for something by a title. There's a reason why she is known by that title. But
what, the queen that never was?
No, God,
oh,
no.
Rhaenyra. Oh, Rhaenyra, you're saying?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, the one the small folk call her?
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't think that can't be a spoiler. I guess.
Spoiler, just say it.
Yeah, they call
her Maegor with teats. There's reason
Maegor
for that.
with teats. Yeah, because Maegor was fucking cruel. Loved him.
Yeah, but that was just a slur anyway.
Yeah, it was. It
Yeah,
was.
She barely even has teats. That's right.
And I think right here, this is a Celtigard finally getting some props, but I don't know. But I know a Celtigard was in the episode, and it really bothers me because, like, throughout the whole season, they keep talking about the Valerians and the Targaryens, the last of the true Valerian blood. And, like, the Celtigards are in the back, like, we've been in Westeros longer. We're Valerians. You know what I mean? Like,
it seems like there are other Targaryens there, too.
Oh, Mark. Yeah. Welcome to the party, brother.
Good evening, friends.
Good evening, my friend. How are you?
I'm recuperating from that episode and from work. 12 hours, man. Oh my God.
Yeah.
But yes.
So, the episode wasn't that long.
Yeah.
Oh,
no.
you meant work. Sorry. Yeah,
well, I appreciate you making time for us. What did you give us your general thought on the episode, and what did you give it out of a 10?
On a scale of 1 to 10, I would probably give this one I'd say about an 8, maybe 8.5. Very, very strong performances. I don't know if you guys have addressed Emma Darcy. Like, she owned this episode. You realize that she ran the entire range of what we saw her in agony. You know, first she was surprised about what happened to her dad and everything. Then she's in agony because of what was going on with the birth. Then, you know, she's confused. And by the end of the episode, she is enraged. You know, so I'm wondering if we're going to see that Rhaenyra that you guys are talking about going forward. It seems like at first she was trying to do it her father's way.
Yeah.
You know, because everything that she was doing seemed so informed from where he was coming from. Even Daemon said, that's your father talking.
Right.
But by the end of the episode, man, I don't know.
Well, but that's okay. So they almost took a page out of Daenerys when she was in Essos trying to rule. You know, like she tried to do it every other way, but being a dragon. The problem I had with it is, like, they try so hard to make sure everybody's sympathetic. Like, Rhaenyra, the Rhaenyra I hope we see in the next episode or season already is that Rhaenyra in the books. Like, she is hardcore. She is badass. She is willing to, like, just go at it. And they kind of didn't want to, I guess they didn't want people to hate her. Like, I think they gave the women these roles in this first season because they think we would end up hating them because they're not likable. I don't know.
I think they wanted that dramatic reveal at the end. They wanted something to push them to that point as opposed to just accepting that, yeah, they're women, but they're also ruthless at this point. Like, they don't have to be pushed to it. They're already there.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, but you can't have that in today's show business. There's got to be a reason why a woman would just be a bitch, and it's got to be a man's fault. You know what I mean?
But that's the thing is that they love making women mean and brutal and mannish for no reason. So they had an opportunity to do that. That's what's so confusing to me.
Yeah.
Because you could have had your Captain Marvel character right here in this show, and it would have actually worked. And they didn't do that.
Right. But Mason, go ahead, buddy.
So I just want to interject real quick. Like, I'm not completely familiar with the book story, but I think, like, Rhaenyra felt like she was acting like a different person. Like, we skipped some part of character development. And I noticed that, but I also noticed that she seemed a lot more likable. So I wonder if they tried to tone her down just to do that.
I feel like they think, Mason, I actually think they think, you know, fans, and it might be a little true, fans are harsher when to, like, female characters if they come off seeming bitchy from the start. And I think they were worried about that. But, like, Game of Thrones fans, Song of Ice and Fire fans, that's not that crowd. Like, we we understand why she would be like that. She's a Targaryen. They're fire and blood. What I will say is the actress, not a big fan of her, but her acting, she is like their facial and eye game acting, I guess you'll call it, is amazing in this series. Like their little visual cues they do. She tells a whole story in just her little reactions to people. You know, I think she did a really good job.
Absolutely.
I almost feel like they tried to show that over the past, 20 years that she's been humbled by being bullied, basically. But I just don't get that from the Rhaenyra we saw as a child. Like, I don't see this ever happening to Daemon. So, like, why would it happen to her?
Like
it doesn't make any sense.
Like the Rhaenyra that said she would never get married and have kids, like, and was all about like just being her own person and this and that. Like, I understand that people do grow, they get humbled, but she's also a princess. Like, there's not a lot that will humble her.
Right. Exactly. She's a Targaryen princess. She should be as ruthless as you would imagine that combination of person to be.
I mean, think of Aegon's sisters. You know, one was a sweetheart, but she'll still kill you. The other one was as much of a warrior as Aegon was. You know, it's all right that I'll let it go that they did it because I know why they did it. That reveal at the end where she just gives that look like, I'm going to kill everybody.
So now I hope they're done with that crap.
Oh, they have to be.
It's a land. It's, you know, it's like walking through a minefield these days. Who you're going to offend, you know, and these writers, they're not immune to that. So they have to be very, very careful how they present their women characters, how they present their black characters, you know, gay characters. That's just how it is these days. It's going to creep into the quality of the actual show, and that's what we've been talking about for years.
Right.
So, you know, Game of Thrones, House of Dragon could be in danger if they don't watch that.
Right.
Because you're going to betray the whole integrity of the story by tiptoeing around what these characters are actually supposed to be. So I think that might be a little bit of what we're starting to see a little bit here, you know?
I agree.
Yeah. I think you're also right about they're going to use the death of her two children to now, like, put more fire in her. We're going to see her be much more like what they're saying that she is in the books.
Like from what I heard, Aemond actually meant to kill
in the books.
You know, yeah.
Well,
so okay, this was a major oopsie for him on the show. You know,
this is the tough part because in the books, like we were just talking about,
in the books, what are we talking about?
Aemon and Luke.
Oh, okay.
So in the books, Mark, Aemon they tell Luke, get out of here, you go first, and Aemon lets him go. And one of the Baratheon daughters, who was jealous that she didn't get picked by Aemon to be his wife, like says, oh, did he take your eye or your balls? One of your balls. And that's why he goes up. But again, it's from an unreliable narrator, and all the reporting is from people that were eyewitnesses, but they were on the ground. So they said it looked like he did it, and he went back and bragged about it.
But did he? Right? Was there? I don't remember him bragging.
I don't remember that part. No,
I don't remember. I think what happened in the books, what we've been told, could very well have happened as what we saw.
Yeah.
Like, there's no contradiction between the two. The girls, bullying him or whatever, that could have happened off screen. Because we never see what the reason why he comes out of the castle and after Luke.
Yeah.
And what happens in the sky with the fire being seen before the attack is heard is something that we know was recounted from people on the ground. So that fits as well. And Arax attacking Vhagar first, I think makes sense. It perfectly aligns with that story. Mm-hmm. And the kid's not intentionally, him not intentionally trying to kill him, I think does make sense because up until this point, he's not a killer.
You're absolutely right on that.
So there's no real contradiction. It's
technically, he's still not.
Yeah, Vhagar's the one that killed him.
No.
And when he goes back to tell Alicent what happened, the family is furious with him about it.
Stricter dragon laws for sure.
Yeah.
He's like, I even spoke to him and said no. It's like, did you do it in High Valyrian? That's what I forgot. Yeah. Sorry.
That's awesome. Oh, so this was one of my favorite parts too, where Daemon teaches Jace about loyalty and stuff like that. And he pretty much tells these two Kingsguard, like, oh, when did you take your vow? Oh, and they explain, he goes, okay, so you swore an oath, X amount of years ago to Rhaenyra. You either swear that oath again, and be faithful, say you're not and get a clean death, or you're gonna, like, if you come back and betray her, you're gonna die horribly.
You're gonna die screaming.
It was
just a little bit confused at this part, though. How is this an answer to the fact that Rhaenyra told him not to do anything? Remember, that's what the kid went to tell him, and then you're going to teach him a lesson about loyalty in response to that. I don't.
I'm glad you said that, because I was, throughout the episode, you see Daemon like trying to rule over her because she is not taking the steps he believes she should. You know what I mean? Like he
choked her out, man.
There's a couple moments where he answers.
No, Mark. He held her up. She was falling. He just held her up.
I think we got
we'll go with that.
We got a couple things out of the scene, though. I mean,
yes.
One, I think he's shoring up Dragonstone. I mean, she told him not to do anything as far as the war, but this isn't the war. This is him shoring up their ground, their territory, the people around them.
Kingsguard.
The Kingsguard, to make sure they're going to be Queensguard or not, right? And that's something he needs to control. He needs to at least clear house to make sure there aren't any traitors there.
Right.
And so I kind of see him as doing that and then leaving the international, if you will, conflict to her. He's handling the domestic matters.
Yep.
And the other thing I think we got out of this was his ability to control his dragon.
Is
which we're going to see in contrast to the kids.
Yeah. And Aemon having Vhagar for 6 years, I was like, when you first said that, I'm like, well, 6 years is a long time. Not for Vhagar. You know what I mean? Like, Vhagar's really old. Shane, you said it before, and I know what you mean. He is King's consort, and he has a right to do this. But Luke comes to him and tells him, this is my mom's direct command to do nothing without her telling him first. And to that answer, he does this. Like, to show Luke, like, not... I don't know if it had double meaning, or if it was just, like, I'm not even listening to that. Like,
I have an alternate take. When he said he's going to show him loyalty, he's going to say, I'm going to go against your mother's wishes because I'm loyal to her. I know what's right in this scenario.
Okay.
So I'm going to show you sometimes you have to go against what's going on in order to keep them alive.
Mm.
So that's loyalty.
Is that the time to do that now, though, when they just found out that her father and his brother is dead and everything is in upheaval? I think you need to have a united front at that point, I would think. But that's just my opinion. I'm not the writer, obviously.
But how can you have a united front if you don't know who's loyal to you on your island?
That's
between the two of you in front of everybody. That's what I'm saying. If she's saying don't do anything and I need you here, and he's off doing whatever he's doing, even if it's for his own reasons, that's kind of a little bit of upheaval right there. It looks a little bit unstable to me.
Yeah,
I think this is what was supposed to happen with Rhea Royce. I expected this to be the scene where Caraxes is up above on that mountain and scares her off the horse. Instead, she just fell off the horse. Like, I really expected this to be that scene.
Good point. Yeah.
Yep.
I was gonna say it's still my favorite looking dragon. I get it looks a little downsy, but like I absolutely love the aesthetic overall of this dragon.
It's meant to, though. Mason, were you gonna say something?
I was gonna ask.
Sorry,
real
Mark.
Quick, why do they keep calling him Prince Daemon, even though he's now the king consort?
Well,
that's still a prince. That's still the role of a prince, though.
I think, isn't King? Well, it would be his new title. He wouldn't.
Has she been crowned yet at this point?
No, she hasn't. But they're already calling her queen.
Oh, okay.
So, like, you know what I mean? That's a good question, man. Mark, what were you gonna say?
Oh, I was just commenting on the dragons. I mean, after seeing Vhagar and all of that glory, the rest of the dragons look like butterflies to me. It's like, oh, aren't they cute? I mean, that thing is an absolute beast, man. Oh my God.
And it's not even that.
When he came up out of the clouds, even I was like, whoa.
Yeah, absolutely. So he does that. She gives birth. We'll get past that because I don't want to have to show that on here.
I wish it had been deformed like in the books, though.
Yes, I was just about to bring that up. Like when Targaryens have these Well, it's a big part of like the story with Dany and
the lore of their
I thought it was
race.
deformed.
a little, but it
looked
didn't have
somewhat.
scales. It didn't have scales.
It looked
Oh,
deformed
so
in the sense that
no.
it was premature. It didn't look deformed in the sense of a dragon.
Right. Right.
I thought I saw scales on the back, but they didn't. There was no clear shots of it anyway.
Right.
So yeah.
Yeah, I wanted the actual thing.
I was also
I was like, where did Grant go? Okay.
Well, the skin on the
Out,
skin
my
on
pal
the
went
head
out,
was
so-
very rough, and the skin on the head was very rough and scaly and
Was
and
it scaly?
malformed. Yeah, it absolutely looked like that to me. And the umbilical cord around the neck.
Yeah,
might
I
have
saw
been the
that.
cause of the malformation of the head. I'm not sure. I mean, the one leg that we saw was fine, but
Yeah.
and then the back was kind of weirdly formed too, with
Yeah.
that same kind of rough looking dragon hide like skin.
I guess that's what they mean by the scaly. It's just it's what it looked like. I was thinking more like it looks like a little mini dragon person.
I thought
it was very dark. It was very dark. You couldn't really see
Oh my
it.
god. Yeah. I mean, in general, it was dark scene too. Like it was terrible.
Yeah.
So this is they're about the baby is on the pyre, like a Targaryen going out in flames. Now in the book, she actually names the baby. It's Visenya. But we never even hear them say that in this. So I guess they just skipped that, but she does name her after her father. That died too, I guess. I don't know. But
just before you go any further, there's a poll in thing that we want everyone to know: are you Team Eric or Team Eric? It's very important.
That's a very important one.
So yeah.
Yeah. So this is Eric, one of the brothers, and everyone's just like pulling swords, ready to. But look at Damon. He has like this, like always a cool like hand on the other hand on my hilt. Like I'm ready. Don't worry about it, guys. And he brings the crown. He brings her father's crown, which is.
Did you think?
Yeah.
Did you think they were like, wait, which one are you?
Well, I mean.
Yeah. Can you guys get name tags?
Yeah.
Grow
Can I
different
scar
facial
you?
hair?
Can I scar you so we always know? Like I would have thought of that. Like,
Can we call you like burnt ear or something?
Well, no, like as a Targaryen, I would be like, dude, I'm gonna cut you on your shoulder, like on the back, and so like when somebody just shows up and I could look and be like, okay, that's ours.
Exactly.
So what crown is Igor wearing?
Aegon's wearing the Conqueror Aegon's crown, the original crown.
This is her father's crown.
Yep.
Which that's
So they just
the
left it
vision
laying
that
around?
Viserys had. His son wearing Aegon's crown.
Yeah, no, you're right. Viserys said that. I mean, he had a vision that Aegon he would have a son wearing Aegon the Conqueror's crown. So, like again, prophecy never turns out in A Song of Ice and Fire the way these people think it will. So
Did I miss the part where this guy just lifted it? Like where did he get
did
it
it
from?
last episode
Yeah,
at the
he
very
stole
end.
it.
Yeah, he stole it right off his body.
Mm.
So yeah, he brings it, gives it to Daemon, swears his oath, and he crowns her and bends the knee, and it's like a makeshift coronation.
Mm-hmm.
So like it's kind of funny because I don't know if you guys noticed, like the forced coronation last episode was all so like chaotic and forced and brutal, but this one is like very organic and like peaceful, and it's very they counter each other. They're complete opposites.
Yeah. This one felt like loyalty.
Yes, it did. So she takes the crown, and there's Rhaenys with that smirk, like, let's see how you did. Like she's always judging.
I can't stand
Did
her.
she kneel? I can't remember.
No,
No.
she did not kneel.
Karen didn't kneel.
No, she didn't.
Yeah.
No.
And neither did the two guys up on the rocks either. I noticed.
Oh, I didn't even think about those two guys. Well, they're keeping guard. But I didn't even think about that. Oh yeah, there they are, not kneeling. Those son of a bitches. And you know what? None of the other two down below on the rocks didn't kneel either. But anyways, everybody but Rhaenys.
I was quite kind of Princess Rhaenys the whole time, the whole through the night. I mean, Emma D'Arcy did some amazing acting, but I think Eve Best stole the episode for me.
Yeah.
You know, by telling Corlys, listen, you know, everybody wants to plunge into war, and she's the only woman there keeping them calm.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, she was the only woman there, so I mean,
yeah.
I have to admit, though, you know, as a normie, she did make me kind of understand why she left last episode without killing everybody.
Yeah.
Like when she said it wasn't my war to start, I was like, you know what? That's a simple line, but it kind of makes sense.
But okay, so I understand. It would have worked better if she somehow like went out a different entrance or exit instead of coming up through the ground killing.
There was 2 other exits she could have used. There's
right.
There's an entrance and an exit to the cave, but she chose to go through the one with all the dirty peasants in the way.
I mean, yeah, they're dirty peasants, so it like takes 10 of them to equal one, like you know, lord. But
here we go.
Here's my question though. What war would she have been starting? She would have single-handedly killed every last usurper and every dragon rider on the green side.
Yeah, I would kill her for that. No, just kidding.
That was checkmate. It was checkmate right there.
It really was.
She could have done it, but wouldn't there have been ramifications? I mean, they do have allies outside of that chamber, right?
Yeah, but none of them have dragons.
Because they have more dragons than the Conqueror did.
They would have all the dragons.
Yeah, or at least those dragons would now be wild until somebody claims them. But until then, no one's going to come up. Like if Rhaenyra then flies in and lands right where it all happened and said, "I am your queen," they'd be like, "All right, let's get back to work, everybody." You know, like life goes on. Because for the peasants,
so she literally could have ended it then. So,
she literally could have
back to not understanding it.
I'm gonna love it. I'm gonna love it because when season 2 comes up and you go back to like the green side with after whatever happened. It'll be mentioned at the Dragon Pit. It'll be mentioned what she did, Rhaenys did. But like as far as like the peasants and stuff like that, it's gonna be like how when Cersei blew up the set. It's just it's an afterthought.
No one remembers it, right? Alex puts it great. Show would have ended if she did it. So
yes, that's true.
Valid point.
That's why I think it would have been if they wanted to do this scene.
Yeah.
Like you said before, they could have had her leaving out of a different exit or something like that. They could have had the dragon come to her in the castle. But another way they could have done it was to have her come up and all of them run away. And the dragon does try to burn them and maybe kills a couple people on that side. But Aegon and the principal family managed to get out just in time.
Right.
And then she gets out of there before the doors close.
Yeah.
I mean, and everybody's hassling on Rhaenys and stuff like that. In episode 9, that bitch had more ample opportunity before she went up there, or episode 8, where she's like engaged her granddaughter. She had plenty of opportunity from when at Driftmark and stuff like that to get out of it after Laenor died and stuff like that. So I say in this episode, it's for her. It's kind of off character a little bit for me because you're committing, but you're going back on it. I mean, I can see both sides. I can see where Jayne and Tina are talking about, and also Mark. I can see that. It's kind of wishy-washy for me as a character.
And someone mentioned Darien. I mean, they could have. You can't leave any of the Hightowers alive.
No.
So her immediate after she finished them,
burn Old Town.
She go all of it to the ground.
Burn Old Town.
You mean tell me? I understand that you're supposed to bring him in season 2, but you're not going to mention him at all. I mean, not even a throwaway comment or anything.
How many family events has this kid missed? I mean, really? Like, I mean, it's pretty poor effort on
I don't know
fifth heir.
I don't know if you guys are old enough to remember this, but it's like in Happy Days, the older brother like never came back, like Zaxx.
Or in like in Family Matters when the little sister went up the stairs and she was never heard of again.
Yeah, Zaxx, were you going to say something?
No, I was gonna say that I really think the best way to handle this would have been to have her just go out a different way and not have that confrontation in the first place. And because we're talking about this still, in which it's been a great season of a fun show, and we're still talking about that one moment they could have easily avoided. And Nero said it in the chat and said she gets her moment later on. Like she gets her. So why there was no reason to do this way this season and have us still talking about it. That's
you know what I've been
still
hearing,
get that moment though.
I've been hearing a lot of people say, and these are like normie people who are just casually watching it, never read the book. They just felt like they rushed the story through.
They did.
It's like that's what I'm hearing a lot of, and these are people who have been enjoying the show and everything, but in the combination of the time jumps and the actors changing up and everything, and it's like we just felt like we could have spent more time with these people.
And Mark, that's such a good point, because like there were some people I saw trying to compare Luke's death at the end to like the shock of Ned Stark being killed. And all I could say to that is the problem with them jumping so much is we didn't get enough time to get to know Luke, want to like root for Luke. We didn't know Luke. So like there was not the emotional connection to when Ned Stark got his head chopped off. Even though I think he warged into the bird above him, but whatever. That's a different story. Luke is it's like, okay, well, like, who are you again? You're the kid that just doesn't want to be a lord on Driftmark. Like I feel like that's why them rushing it ruined that moment.
Yeah. I agree. This has been so entertaining and so much fun to watch. But if we could be honest about it, we haven't had our red wedding in this show.
No.
You know what I mean?
Oh God!
Like the gut wrenching. It's just and it's because they rushed it through.
Yeah,
and I'm telling you,
shocking stuff that happens. There's
going to be two big things
that
happen. There are going to be two big things that happens, and everybody's talking about they'll be in like season 2 and season 3 or whatever. The two big things that happen later on, they're either going to happen like this with Luke and Vhagar, or they're going to happen towards the later, like in the season and stuff like that, just for the shock value itself. Because it worked very well for the season finale.
I think for me though, it was very close, because even though I knew it was coming, and even though they hadn't developed it well for normies, I felt something for the characters because of having read about them. And so seeing this scene, like, I was literally shaking.
It was violent. Like it really was like a really cool, like, okay, first of all, Storm's End looked awesome.
Oh, amazing.
Looked awesome.
Yeah.
I've got a quick question about Storm's End. The Lord there, is he illiterate?
Yes.
Okay.
Is, yes.
Thank you for bringing that up. Because the minute he said, "Where's that Maester?" I was like, Maester conspiracy. Did you think that too?
Conspiracy.
Oh man, that was the first thing I thought. Like, he's not going to tell him exactly what's
written.
What did
he tell him?
Yeah. What did she really write? Because it sounds like it came off like "do your duty," but she probably was like, "Our families go back, and my grandmother and blah blah blah." But the minute he called for the Maester, because most lords in Westeros are illiterate, most of them, and the Maesters are the ones that read their mail for them, and these people don't have to trust their Maesters. So what's to say the Maesters are telling them something different? That's one of the theories in A Song of Ice and Fire, that the Maesters are actually like
controlling the narrative
because the Maesters hate the dragons. So does the Seven, the religion.
Oh, you know what, guys? Because I came in late. Something I was curious about. Daemon, when he first got word that Viserys was dead, he announces that the king has been slain. Is this what they're going on the assumption of at this point, that he's been, or just that he died? No, he in his heart he believes she killed him, even though he saw what he looked like how close he was to death. In Daemon's mind, he has to, like, he just puts that much more hate into Alicent. Like, she killed him. It's her fault. Like, that's how I got it. Like, no one could tell him any different. That's not Rhaenyra. That's not how she's taking it. It's just the sickness that got him. Yeah.
We don't know. We don't really know, because nothing else has been said about it, and Rhaenys didn't offer any clues to what happened.
Right. Now, Rhaenyra does blame them for the death of her daughter, though, even though it's not technically their fault. But
did I just do that?
What did you do? I
hit a button. You did it, you son of a gun. Yeah. Say that again, Jane. I'm sorry, because things
No, I'm
moved.
just saying that Rhaenyra blames them for the death of her daughter, even though they didn't cause it, they didn't murder her child, but she says it over and over again.
Oh yeah.
And
Well,
she
I mean,
thinks
if it's anyone's fault, it's Rainy's. She's the one that delivered the news in the most softest and easiest way for her to deal
for
with
a
it.
pregnant woman.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And as she's grabbing at it, and she's just like, but wait, there's more. There's more.
It gets worse.
Here's the best part.
I could have ended the whole thing.
Yeah.
It's a free set of steak knives.
Right. I love how the table looks.
Even if the Greens didn't directly kill Viserys, from Daemon's point of view, they were still the ones who were like calibrating his medicine and doing all the stuff and keeping him drugged up with milk of the poppy. So he could still see them as the cause.
Right.
Well, he also still blames them in part for him being banished.
Yeah.
Because of his relationship with Otto and how Otto was in his ear.
Yep.
Otto needs to die.
Yeah.
I can't. I do not like Otto. Like, ugh. Like, why? You guys know I got a problem with how he even came back as the Hand of the King. Like, he's always been a snake. Like, I could at least respect Littlefinger a little bit better because he wasn't as obvious. Like, Otto is just out there. He's been out there from the very beginning, a clear and open enemy.
Yep.
But he's still like successful in what he's doing. I just can't stand that mother effer.
Yeah. Zaxx, I want to ask what you were about to say, but I want to. Sam and Nick McCabe are in the chat, and those guys are awesome. And please, if you are watching this, subscribe to their channel. They do some really good videos, man. They're smart dudes. What were you gonna say, Zach? I
gotta say, like, I agree with Mark about Otto needs to die, and they've over the course of the season they've made that more apparent because early on it didn't seem. He seemed like he you know what, he was shady, but he wasn't as bad. But now he's got to go. But again, that brings me back to the last episode when it's like he's right there. Everyone's right there. Just Dracarys, and it's done. You know,
we're never gonna let that go, dude.
I can't. I wish I could.
One word could have saved the realm.
Yeah, dick.
Yeah.
Or at least seen if any of them are actually impervious to fire.
Right.
I know none of them are, but it's a fun thought experiment.
Yeah.
Let's just all light them up, burn them, see which one survives.
Thought experiment.
And you know, something I didn't bring up last episode, they really put Kristen, God, I always screw his name. Cole's, Sir Kristen Cole. I have to say Sir, or I get his name wrong. Sir Kristen. They like definitely muffed it. Like, he is the reason Aegon became king.
Yeah.
Like, he was the true schemer in the book. Like, he's the one that goes and finds Aegon and talks him in. Like, your sister's going to come and kill you. You need to take the throne and defend yourself. You know, like, but they changed it.
Yeah, because he's like, why would I want to take the throne off my sister? What kind of man would steal something like that? He's like, if you don't, everyone you love is going to die.
Yeah.
And it's going to be your fault.
Yep.
Except in this series, he's just a bitch.
Yep. So this is what I'm kind of talking about. This is her first war council, and Daemon answers all the questions pretty much for her. And I understand he's the one that's been doing it for her, but it's the way he does it. It's almost like he's not even regarding her as the leader at the moment. I feel like there's moments where that happens.
And why would they write it that way?
Right. I don't know.
What I loved about the animated series version of this was that you see her hands are on the table and she's looking around, giving orders and instructions as a queen, because that's what she is.
Yes.
And they
Wait a minute. There's an animated version of this?
Absolutely.
It's the histories.
You've not seen it, Mark?
No. Is this the part where we're going to act like I'm the only one in the chat? Am I the only one who did not know this?
Mark,
it's not what you're thinking, Mark. It's like pictures, and it's like somebody telling the history of Westeros and the Targaryen.
It's really good, though.
That's so good.
It sounds great. Where can I watch it?
Each season of Game of Thrones, they'll have these animated history and lores. Well, they'll talk about the backstory of Westeros and stuff like that, and they'll have the actors portray with their characters and in line if they're House Stark or Greyjoy
Yep.
and whatnot. If I were you, since you have not read the books, I do not recommend watching it because it spoils everything.
It does spoil. I mean, it tells you the history, but I feel like they've changed a lot. Where I like that I read the books because it makes me look at it in a different way.
Mark, we can, if you want, we'll get you a copy and we can have a chat about it either next week or the week after.
Yeah,
I would love to see it for sure.
Yeah, you know what? We'll do that because next I want to let everybody know next week we're going to do a season 1 review as a whole, how we liked it, and also not because a lot of us read the books, but where we think the actual show will go in season 2. So it could be a bit of a spoiler one, but not talking about. We won't spoil things from the books because I think things are going in a different route. Maybe.
Can I just say too? Did you guys hear the showrunner say there's going to be more of an emphasis on humor in season 2?
No, I did not. I hate hearing that.
Yeah, they got the She-Hulk writer in. What's her name?
To
help. Well,
no, they didn't.
Karen.
If I want humor, I'm gonna go to YouTube where people have edited the clips themselves and gotten out the funny bits and just put in amazing music to like when she in the second episode where she's with Westerling and Otto and they're looking at the King's Guard and stuff like that, and it's so quiet and it's awkward as hell and stuff like that. People putting in music to that on their own time on YouTube, I'll watch that. And the show itself, I don't know.
Yeah, I can't see where there's a lot of humor in this story.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not gonna lie. I laughed when what's his name said he can keep his tongue. I mean, I genuinely laughed at that. You know, I also saw a couple of videos on YouTube where it's like, "Don't lose your head," and it was Arnold Schwarzenegger after he cuts it off, and they just inserted Arnold Schwarzenegger one-liners throughout the series.
That's
that was funny. But yeah, this isn't going to be a humorous show. Like,
yeah, God, if they try to make it humorous, that's dumb.
Unless hear me out, unless there's a certain particular scene that happens with blood and cheese, let's just say, and they turn it into like a game show.
Oh God, no! That's enough. That's enough.
No,
that's enough.
No,
I'm shocked you even said their name. I was going to say B and C.
I was very shocked that he said that too.
I was going to say B and C. Yeah.
But if Grant Gregory is correct, though, and they're going to hire the She-Hulk writers, it's not going to be funny for sure.
Oh God, yeah, true.
Oh, well, that makes sense. Yeah, that makes sense.
I just got that.
It's
not wrong.
No, not at all. Not at all.
Yeah.
So they are doing the War Council, and she is pretty much trying to keep it from turning into all-out war right away. She's trying to make sure they have who supports them, make sure they still support them. So she, like, some of the things she was saying were smart. Like, yes, you know, we need the Riverlands. We need a place in Westeros kind of central where we can put a foothold. We need this. We got to make sure these people are still loyal, blah, blah, blah. And then, you know, Rhaenys behind her the whole time with that smirk, like, I'm watching you, girl. I'm watching you. You know, like, I just feel like it's, I don't know, condescending.
Yeah, I thought this felt very off because this is not the headstrong Rhaenyra that was in the rest of the series.
Right. So after this, Lord Corlys, they find out is coming. And
I was very confused by that.
Yeah. What? By what?
Well, okay, they talk about how Corlys he's coming and his fever's broken, but then if you see him and it's like he's been in Dragonstone the whole time. I
almost feel like he just showed up.
It was weird.
And like she's like, what are you doing? Okay, go Tina, please.
I was gonna say his fever broke. They found out through ravens or whatever to bring him to Dragonstone instead of going home, and he's still in and out of consciousness and doesn't actually wake up until he's in the bed in that scene.
Oh, okay. All right. That makes sense. But man, getting close to death really changed that guy. You know, like it made him think. So, you know, they go through everything. Every time, you know, Daemon gives a point why we should go right for war, she has a counterpoint to it. It's almost like they're going kind of against each other. And that's kind of what I saw it as. Like, he's like, let's go to war. And what I like is that he never like, you know, he might be pushing it, but he never like, you know, undermines her and actually like goes behind her back and goes to war. Like, I don't know how I'm trying to say this. Like, it felt like they were leading up to that.
It seems to me like she's kind of retreating into the comfort of her father's philosophy.
Yep.
You know, kind of like, you know, a lot of us do. You know, we don't take the religion of our parents until they're gone and we get old.
Yeah.
You know, so you kind of, you know, you find your comfort in what you know. So I think that was her initial response to it, which is why I said by the end, I think you'll see something a little bit different, you know, but I think that's what she was trying to do first.
Yep.
To go there.
Yep.
You know, so I thought that was pretty interesting to see her go that way first.
Yeah. And it's different from the book. And if they now like, she tried her father's way and realizes I'm not my father, I'm fine with that. You know, like she tried it. She stayed calm. She thought, and then they did, you know, they kill her son after she like calmly thought about, you know, the terms that Otto gives her and this and that. Like, cause I would have killed him. I don't know why you let him walk off Dragonstone. I don't care. You know,
especially the way he was talking.
Exactly. Exactly. He should have lost his head for it. And this is the scene right here. And they do the exact her flying around like she did when she was a kid. But yeah, Otto's talking his junk. I like how she landed on their Otto side and walked through them all. That was a boss move. Anybody got thoughts on Otto bringing terms?
Not so much about the terms is, you know, granted, this takes between 15 and 20 years from the pilot episode. But is Cyrex supposed to be about the same as far as size and stuff like that? I mean,
someone said that. I saw that Cyrex doesn't look like he grown at all.
That's what I'm saying. It looks, I don't know what they talk about with the dragons and the size and stuff like that. As they mature, obviously they grow, but you would think with some of years that you would
grow
see
a little
difference.
bit. Somebody put them side to side and said that Cyrex has grown a little bit. So
that was my only takeaway from this scene.
But they, you know, when Rhaenys escaped from the dragon pit, her dragon seemed to shrink. They play with the sizes all and the depth perception or whatever all weird.
Yeah.
It shows.
He literally shrank in that scene.
Roast all those guys. Like, that's what I was thinking. Just do it. No.
Here's my answer, Zach. Fire. You know?
I think the reason they didn't hear is because he's an envoy. And it's going to contrast with her son's being an envoy later on at the end.
Oh, that's a good point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How he was treated versus how they get treated.
That makes sense. I don't know.
He had a lot of balls, man. Him showing up of all people.
Yeah.
Are you kidding me?
Right.
Like the restraint on Daemon at that point.
And he listens to his queen too, Mark. He listens to his queen because he's ready to chop his fucking head off. And that's what I love about it. It's like the way Otto talks to them, like, you know, like he is the king. He has Blackfire. He, you know, he has the Conqueror's crown. He has everything that shows the king. And I don't think they stress it enough. In Westeros, when Blackfire was still around and the crown was like, these are things when somebody had it, they believed they were next in line. And it causes down the line with Aegon the Unworthy years from now, another civil war because one of his bastards that he legitimized has the sword. So people feel like, well, if he has a sword, he should be king.
You mean Rhaenyra's grandson?
Something like that. Something like that.
Nick made a good point too about the dragons being in the dragon pit, and that does stunt their growth.
It does. It does. But hers has been on Dragonstone now for how many years? Has it been that long?
From when they came in episode 9 is 6 to 7 years,
maybe
like that.
Yeah, because he's absolutely right. One of the biggest downfalls to their dragons was the dragon pit, and that's why
that was so stupid.
Well, because dumb. Like, and that's one of the reasons why Drogon is so much bigger than Dany's other two dragons, because she kept them caged underneath the pyramid in Marine, and Drogon never got caged. You know, so like
park them on Dragonstone.
Yep.
It's right there.
I mean, it has the name Dragon in it. So yeah, Zaxx.
I thought it was, when I first saw that it was Otto, because it's not Otto, I don't think, in the book. I thought that this was going to be what kicked it off, because you send him as bait because you know they're going to take the bait and off him now for sure, and then they started it, not you. Right. He went there as a messenger for peace, like Jayne said, as an envoy, and they broke that. But that's the only reason I would send him is to pick a fight, and then they didn't do it.
He's so provocative. He was provocative the last time he went there. Yep. He should have died there.
What's the actor who plays Otto?
Reese Ifans.
I commend this guy, because I really want to fucking kill this guy. I mean,
I know, and he's a hilarious actor.
He really is.
Yeah.
What was it? The Full Monty was.
Full Monty. He was in
Notting Hill.
Notting Hill, The Replacements, with Keanu Reeves.
Like he was the kicker. Man.
Yeah. He's a good actor. Dude, the casting has been amazing in this show. Everyone I thought was not going to be good has been great. You know, like Rhaenyra, this one. Didn't think I would like her. Turns out I like her.
Well, that's because this person is non-binary and doesn't go by those pronouns.
Nah, that's true. Damn it.
Yeah.
Well, wait a minute. Then why is this person able to play a queen? That doesn't seem fair, does it?
No, it's messed up. It's messed up.
By their rules.
By their rules, you're absolutely right, man. And like someone said it in the chat earlier, if she wins an Emmy, can she accept it for Best Actress?
Wow. Good question.
The world we've created.
The world we have created. So the terms are like, you know, you'll get Dragonstone. It'll pass. And he says it'll pass to your true-born son, Jacaerys. So they're saying we will no longer call your kids bastards. They will be considered true-born. Like,
well, I mean, it is her true-born son. That's nothing can change that.
Right, I get that. But it's more saying they will be considered true-born. Not, you know what I mean? I don't know if that makes sense.
I think they could have sweetened the pot a little bit.
Hell yeah.
By giving them the titles of Prince of Dragonstone. Sort of like how the Dornish kept their princely titles.
Yep. Oh, she wouldn't keep it?
No. It would be Lord of Dragonstone.
Oh, I missed that
I think
part.
she would keep it herself, as maybe her and Daemon might have kept it, but their children, I don't think so.
I think it's all BS anyways. Who would believe this deal?
Someone's going to kill somebody.
I think...
Like, it's kicked off already at this point, I think.
Yeah.
Well, I think with the original characters, it wouldn't have worked. But with these weak characters they've created,
True.
Maybe they would have stuck by it.
Yeah,
that's a good point.
And, you know, she hands her the piece of paper she ripped out, you know, so...
I laughed at that scene.
And they want, you know, and I like how your sons, your true-born sons with Daemon will be cupbearers for Aegon, blah, blah, blah. Yeah. Like, what they're saying is we're taking your hostages. We're taking your kids as hostages to make sure you don't. And we're not giving you any. You're right. And we're not giving you any in return. That's what you do
to someone after you've conquered them.
Yes.
Well, but that would have been the extra thing she would have thrown in there to sweeten the pot, is we have to get one of your kids.
Yep.
True.
All right, we'll do that. You give us the crazy one.
I'll tell you what, we'll throw in Aemon's other eye.
No, but if they had Aemon foster with them, that would have been freaking epic.
Or Helena's Allison's grandchildren.
Yeah, the twins.
Take Jaehaera to
what, both of them?
Yeah, split them up. One on Driftmark, one on Dragonstone.
And they would be betrothed to the boys.
Well, so they're the twins. I thought were boys.
No, there's a daughter.
There is
a daughter? There was a little girl.
There is a little girl.
There's one little girl, right?
And
oh, you're right.
So she would be betrothed to one of the boys, and they would each be in the different places.
Yep.
That could maintain the peace.
Yep.
See, we could have negotiated this.
Well,
Yeah.
I mean, is it? I mean, this show has affected me so much that every time I see a conflict now, I think, okay, who can I marry amongst these people to sort it out? And like,
It's worked for generations.
Yeah, that's the way it works.
Oh God, that's great. So yeah, she says I'll give it a day. I'll give it a day.
I mean, wouldn't it have just been hilarious if he showed her the bit of paper and she's like, "What the fuck is this?"
Yeah, it doesn't even remember it.
He's like, I read this when I was a kid. Yeah, I know the story. And he's like, no, the paper, you tore it out. It's like, I don't remember that.
Right. And I love how he says no blood needs to be spilt so the realm can carry on in peace, except for those couple hundred peasants, because they don't count.
How dare you desecrate this sacred book?
Yeah, right. There should be a maester that comes up behind her and stabs her for ripping that page out. Because it was a sacred book.
But this is all for show, right? I mean,
yeah.
He wants them dead. He knows they're not going for any of this stuff.
Yep.
I thought it would have been funny if you had a parallel scene with her getting the sheet of paper and then punching Otto the way Daemon did the guy who sent the message from Viserys.
Just like parallel shot for shot, exactly the same way.
Yeah.
And then Daemon just looking at him like, don't you even take one step forward.
Yep. I love the dragon in the background screams at everybody, shut the hell up.
Love the dragons.
Yep. So this is where they talk about the terms, and they talk about, well, we got to go, we got to find out who's on our side. So
where do they get all these wax from? That's what I want to know. Like, candles are constantly burning, like not just a few of them. Like, it's not like they're setting like rags or anything on fire. There's candles everywhere. Where's the wax coming from? I haven't seen a single bee.
They're rich.
How do you make wax?
Bee wax, most likely.
We've just learned that you can take an entire army across the ocean with only 3 boats. So the wax is not a problem.
So I think they're actually using the Game of Thrones peasants for the candles.
Oh, that's why it's a dirty smoke. That makes sense.
Yeah. And they don't last long.
So sick.
That's great. That's great. And why are they like, man, they use them till they're almost done too. So you got to give them credit for that. They're all like about a half an inch tall. So. Hello. Hello.
Yeah, now, darling. There you go. You go play.
So, she keeps them out of war and decides, let's send my young sons that have no idea of the world and no real, they've never done this. They've never come with me to another person's place to like treat. Let's send my kids because they have dragons and we want to show strength. Like,
how do they know where to go? That's like, there's no like dragon sat-nav or anything, is there? Or
Jesus.
I don't think he was born yet.
I don't know. Yeah, that's a good question. Like, Luke or Jace, go this way, like really far, and you'll find a mountain with a castle on top. That's the area.
I think they've been
There'll
there
be
before.
rain around it. That's how you'll know it's the right one.
Yeah.
I'm sure they've been there before.
So, sending your heirs, it's not bad in by itself, but like it shows the lords that they're meeting with that you mean business, and it's a very serious topic, and like they're more likely to be treated. But you should probably send somebody else with them. Like that's probably where she makes the mistake. Like send, I don't know, a maester or somebody to help try and like even Bran had to have the Maester of Winterfell help him the Lord's tasks when he was the last one left in Winterfell.
Right.
So why would you?
Hodor.
It would have to be dragon riders though to keep up.
Yeah. And go ahead.
I mean, yeah. I mean, if you could have time, you could send someone ahead on, like, with horse and everything, and then have the princes going from castle to castle. So if you just send a bunch of people out to meet them at certain castles, you could do that. That's one way of doing it, but I think they just wanted to get it done as quick as possible.
Yeah.
Well, the dragons have, as long as they're big enough, they can carry 2 people.
Right.
Like that was one of the first things Rhaenyra says to Alicent is, whatever her dragon's name is big enough to put a 2-person saddle on.
Yeah. Or Or, hey, Rainey's, why don't you go with one of my sons? Hey,
That's what I was thinking too.
Granddaughter, go with the, like, they have enough dragon riders that two of the, Damon could go by himself, but like 2 and 2 with the other dragon riders. And that also shows even more strength.
Rainey absolutely should have been the one to go to Storm's End.
Yes.
It's people.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's her
common
people.
sense.
And you know what, Elizabeth, you're right. Storm's End wasn't as far as Winterfell, but in my mind, I would think Storm's End is closer to King's Landing than Winterfell. Why would I send Luke there? Because like that's one place I could see the Greens going to, even if not with a dragon, like a host of people. You know, like it wasn't.
And the other thing too, along those lines, is not only could they go there, even if these people are loyal to you, you don't know how much pressure they've been put under. Because I kind of got the feeling that the Baratheons, with Aemon there with his dragon, what else were they going to do?
Right. And they got good terms too.
They could not have. They got good terms, but that dragon was the best term of all.
Yep. But that's what blows my mind too. Like, Rhaenyra, you really think oaths will keep people in line? Like, first of all, it was his dad who took the oath.
Yeah, he was 10. That was in the book. He's like, he's like, why? He's like, I was 10 years old when my father made that oath. Why would I honor something like that?
Right.
Yeah.
The North might do that, but not down here. And like, not to even have a contingency plan of marriage, like that was like, you didn't think like a queen.
And not only that, I felt like you had the distance between them, but why was there this disconnect between their families? It's almost as if they had not been trying to develop allies along the way. You know,
absolutely.
Like, she should have been thinking about these things well before now. She could have had a close relationship with all of her cousins who are lords of realms. Like, it just didn't make any sense.
Yeah.
That's what I said in our group chat.
Yeah.
Like, when she was the heir apparent, you're not going to bring ladies from other parts of the kingdom to be your ladies in waiting. She's not going to bring her first cousins from the Vale, and it's just like so weird.
Yeah.
The Baratheons had all those daughters, and not one of them was a hostage. Like, what are you doing?
Right.
Yeah, I agree with Jayne. We need to take more women hostage.
We really should. Good idea, Jayne.
I'm just saying.
Hashtag Jayne hostage. Not you personally. That's your
not
channel
queening
now.
right.
Yeah. Well, that's the point. Is she queening right? Shut up, Christie. Is she queening right, or is she? Was this her like mistake? She didn't even think like, because to me, like, okay, your whole life, ever since not your whole life, but ever since your little brother has been born, you have heard people say like he should be king. Like, and Otto Hightower, you know, is definitely not your friend and is now again the hand of the king. Like, shouldn't you be sending, you know, hey, let's go visit the Baratheons for a weekend. You know, like, let's do this. Like, you know, make these bonds.
Basic networking.
Yeah.
Speaking of what, I mean, she loves to hunt. They love to hunt. That could have been what they bonded over.
Yeah.
Have you ever killed a boar with your bare hands? Well, I haven't either, but I stabbed one to death.
Yeah.
And they squeal like children.
Oh, yes. God. Mason, what were you going to say?
But, like, she's going and asking these lords, the same ones that she was, like, trash-talking on her Westerosi Bachelorette tour. And
yeah. She caused a murder at Storm's End. Don't forget that. You know, like, they probably, like, think about that. She caused a kid to get stabbed in the gut and walked out on it. Like, good luck, Baratheons.
He fucked around and found out. That's plain and simple what happened there. So.
Thank you guys for the 50 likes. 39 people still watching. We'll go for a little bit. Dude, I can go forever on these. I'm sorry, guys. We're halfway through it, and I can't help myself.
It's good stuff.
Yeah, it really is. And I'm so happy it's like this. So this is the scene we were talking about. Corlys, you know, being humbled, I would guess would be the best way of putting it.
Yeah.
What do you feel about that, Jayne?
So stupid. It's like the most ridiculous scene in this entire show. He is the most ambitious person like that we know of in probably the entire series.
Mm-hmm.
And they have him, oh, we can just go and settle in the countryside with our grandchildren. He would never do that.
Right.
His character development happened. His character development happens off screen, and he just comes back a changed man.
Right.
It's like you don't even get to see like what makes him change his mind. It just kind of feels like it comes out of nowhere.
I like also how he had no reaction to his brother getting his wig split.
Right.
You know, also, you know, like no reaction whatsoever. I mean, yeah, I don't know. Where's the humanity here? You know what I'm saying?
No, he shifted the pillow. He tried to get up a little bit. And then he went, yeah, he was a dickhead.
That was crazy, too, because it's like they made the change of making Vaemon a brother instead of a nephew. But there's no, like, comparable emotion to his death.
Right.
It's just like, well, he was arrogant. Oh, well.
Yeah.
He brought it on himself.
Yeah.
I really feel like he spends the show trying to guess what his wife wants him to say.
Yeah. They
Really?
cuffed him.
Really?
Yeah. I think so. I do. Yeah. And he's wrong every time. He's going to get scolded regardless. But yeah, he tries.
I agree.
His brother died by Daemon's hand, and we didn't even get him give a look or something. You know what I mean? Just like, I know what you did, or you know, something would have been nice.
Yeah, but he could be mad all he wanted at Daemon for doing his brother. His brother was a dumbass to do that in front of a king.
Yeah, but
I mean,
not just that. He believes that his son was killed by them.
That's true.
Now his brother, and then
that's what I'm saying. When I say where's the humanity, I'm just like, it would just be human of him to just have some kind of hard feeling about that, you know?
I mean, Daemon thought his brother was.
Maybe he doesn't care about black people dying. Could be that.
Jesus Christ.
Could never be that.
Daemon thought his brother was an idiot, and yet he loved him and missed him when he died.
Yeah.
Like, you don't get the same frustration. And even if he had to keep it to himself because they're going to war and you have to work with this person who you don't like, show us that. You know, show us some tension, something.
I feel like he was much closer with Daemon than his own brother. I also feel like he realized that his brother said the one thing in front of the king in the throne room he shouldn't have said. And even though Daemon was the one, like, that's grounds to be executed.
Well, no, okay, in that aspect, and he also basically attacked the character of his son and his grandchildren.
Yeah.
So...
And they you know, she left out the part where he called the princess a whore. Yeah. It wasn't just bastard, but whore too.
And they were like, no, we're cool with that. I just didn't like the other part.
She is a whore.
He could at least miss him.
Yeah, right. Like,
I mean,
shucks.
Keep in mind, the man, I don't know if he got his ass kicked here or what, but, you know, also, he lost his daughter. As far as he knows, he lost his son. He just lost his brother. There's no just nodding that off. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, for us as an audience, it's nice and convenient. Right. But when you really give yourself to the story, that's not a human response.
Right.
At some point, like, when is enough? And that I agree with.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
so
maybe
just give us a little something. That's all.
Yeah. Well, maybe that was his little something by saying, let's just get out of here. You're right.
I thought that was a trap. And if she said yes, he's just like, you don't get it, do you? I honestly thought he was going to be like, ha, gotcha, bitch. For the moment.
I think it would have made more sense for him to blame the High Towers and be mad and furious and want to go to war.
Yeah. Yeah. Like putting those thoughts in his brother's mind.
Exactly.
You know, that valid. Really. That's why you're Jayne Theory. That was a good one. That was a good one. No, it really was. That was a good one. That would have been awesome if they went that route.
Thank you.
And it gives them even more reason to want to fight them when he decides, or Rhaenys decides for him. Yeah. Because, like, finally, he's been talking all about, like, rising up and family and blood and this and that and, you know, men battle. And he's like, all right, I think I'm ready to retire. And she's like, oh, hell no. It's on. Like, I watched that girl with this smirk on my face the whole time, and I realized I guess she could be a queen because she's trying to hold it all together. Yeah. I don't know.
Sad.
I think that they used Rhaenys in this episode as sort of a mirror for the audience to show us how we were supposed to be thinking about Rhaenyra.
Really good point. Yep.
Yeah.
Nope.
Yeah, I just don't like it.
Yeah.
Me either.
Good point.
But if she says that she's over it, which is basically what she's always telling her husband. None of it matters to her anyway.
Right.
What's her interest in all of this now?
Her grandchildren. Because
Exactly.
they're betrothed. They're betrothed to those sons. So that's her reason. And like, to us, I would just be like, all right, well, that oath meant nothing. We're out. But it means something to them, Are the Patriots actually losing? Oh my God, did I write that? Was that in the private chat? Because I said I was trying to find the Patriots score.
He legit did.
Patriots are losing in the fourth quarter. So
against
they're
who?
down by 6.
Bears.
The Bears.
But Mac Jones didn't start tonight, did he?
That's
Yeah,
amazing that that comment showed up and you were so freaked out.
I like the Patriots.
I love the Patriots. Oh, God, I forgot you're here. You son of a bitch. So she drags old Corlys's bones out, and he declares, which I think, like, Rhaenyra, did you get the idea she didn't expect them to have her back?
Yeah, based on how Rhaenys was acting.
Yeah.
But I did like Corlys's speech.
Right. Yes. And then I love just how she said, as did you, when both Aaron and Baratheon share blood with my house. And they made oaths just as you did, like she put him in that position, like, say it now. Let's get this over with.
Yeah.
Good scene. Good scene.
But I feel like Aaron is the only house she could be absolutely comfortable with to some degree.
I agree.
Has to be the Aarons, right?
Yeah. It's her mom.
Right. I mean,
yeah.
That would be just dirty if they didn't go with her. So dirty. Like,
God,
my mom.
What they got on that girl's head.
But it's like, my mom didn't even change her last name. It was Aaron the whole time. Like. That would have sucked. But again, they do this, and we'll get to the big parts. Dragons are flying, people. And then we get a lullaby or something, some ancient dragon song.
I wonder if they are planning, because they have been condensing characters and eliminating characters. I wonder if they're going to have him not flying, but controlling a second dragon.
Kind of like Danny.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Because so that's something I wanted to talk about. Like, next season, there's still so many characters we haven't met.
Mm-hmm.
Like, these people have to be introduced to be dragon riders, learn how to drive. Like, they might have to do that, right?
Yeah, I could see it. And if anyone can do it, it's him.
Yeah.
So, is that Vermithor? I can't remember.
Yeah, Vermithor.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, it's Vermithor.
Because without going into too much, Vermithor is involved in a conflict riderless later on, I do believe. Is that correct?
Yes, it is.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I forgot about that. Yep.
So if they're going to go the route of the condensing characters, having him being controlled by Daemon but not ridden makes perfect sense. The reason why that conflict happens later on.
Yeah.
Good point.
That's good. That's good, man. So he does this and doesn't die, which is pretty ballsy. Give it to him. And then there's little Jace.
Chicago just scored again.
God damn it. Is Mac Jones playing? That's all I need to know. Because if it isn't Mac, I'm all right. Because
Mac's playing.
No, he's not.
I like that he's barely able to control the dragon with no threat.
Right.
Because of the
I was
storm.
thinking the same thing. Chances are he would have fallen to his death anyway.
Yeah.
I mean, that storm is vicious because it's the end of it. Storm's in. Anyways.
Look at Arax.
Yeah, dude, that's the first good look I actually got of the side of that.
Beautiful.
Yeah, that's what I thought, especially watching.
Man, look at them legs.
How gorgeous he is.
Yeah, he ain't been skipping leg day.
Yeah, no, not at all. Mason comes out with the zinger.
He does.
But
He's just big enough to ride, though.
Yeah, I just love how every dragon is different, has its own characteristics. Like, it's awesome that they've gone that far, even farther than HBO went with Game of Thrones.
I love it.
Yep. So we get through there, and this is, I'm my mother's messenger. And there's I love when he ripped off the eye patch, I have to say.
That
was an amazing scene. That's one of the highlights to me of this episode.
Yep.
I see, for whatever reason, my dumbass thought it was going to be purple. I don't know why. I just in my head I'm like, oh, it's not purple, and then I went back and I went, it was never mentioned as purple, but I always imagined it being purple. I have
It's
no
a
idea
It's a
why.
sapphire.
It's
I
a
know
sapphire.
it's a sapphire. That's why I said my dumb ass always thought it was going to be purple.
I love
Sapphires.
green rubies are my favorite.
Yeah. Actually, there are green rubies, so that's the self-burn there.
Well, 'cause
You
I was
can
going to
get pink, white, and purple sapphires.
Wait a minute, say that again.
You can have pink, white, and purple sapphires.
Yeah.
Oh, excuse me.
But the
Miss
bluish,
Jules.
the bluish with sapphire is that's what it's most associated with. I know because my birthstone is sapphire.
Yeah.
Well,
that could-
it should have been green. If he's team green, he should have really committed.
yeah, right?
Makes him look like an other.
Oh, Jayne.
Oh my god! Don't get
damn.
me started on
Oh.
that.
You're right.
Oh my god, he's the what do you call it?
He's
Oh my
the
God.
Night's King.
I literally no. I'm muting now.
That's what's happening for sure.
For sure. Story over, guys.
Ooh.
That could also explain why Night's King's both of his eyes are blue.
Mm. That's
I
intense.
saw that on Twitter and it took everything
really?
in me just to like
Oh, I thought we just
not
thought of
be
that.
like you.
I
see
just
you
did.
next
I didn't see
Tuesday.
anything on Twitter.
Yeah.
Well, I also heard a video of it where people they're just like, it's the Night King, and it's like you fucking joking.
No shit. I never would have even thought of that. That's funny. And then we get the dog fight.
Chase. Yeah.
Yep. And he's looking back like, but that one scene, I don't know if I can find it, when Vagar's above him.
Yeah.
That is so awesome.
Yeah.
Just
That's
the
right.
way it just looks amazing. Okay,
Go back
it's
a
right
little
here.
bit.
Yeah, just a hair.
Just
Kinda
There you
like-
go.
There
Oh,
it
I
Can
is.
you
did
play-
have it.
can you play
Oh, son
that?
of a- Yeah, I'll go back. Hold on. There we go.
That,
Just- that is
Wow.
that is holy shit.
how awesome. Like the CGI in this show has been on point with the dragons. I mean, it was in the other one, but it's just amazing.
This is
It's almost
they're
as
taking
good
it
as
up a notch.
She-Hulk.
She-Hulk is on a different level, right, Tina?
I actually was kind of upset with the special effects there, CGI for the dragon fight. I thought it could have been better. It was better for Game of Thrones.
No.
Yeah.
Are you- really? Oh wow. I was waiting for the punchline.
In the
Okay.
dark.
Well, I mean, they do dark really well. Like, that's an HBO thing, or a Game of Thrones thing. Yeah, and then hopefully I can get the point where he's like, "Oh, I'm out of the clouds. Everything's going great. Life is awesome."
I
So
so
we're-
survived. We're
Everything
surviving.
is awesome.
Oh,
Oh, God.
Shitty
Oh, God.
by a dragon.
Oh shit! What am I doing?
Nope.
Vagar, no! Oh damn! I'm too late.
Because that's the thing. Like
Game over,
you see
bitch.
you see it beat in half, but I definitely think that he ate that.
He might have.
Oh, he ate the prince for sure.
Vega,
Cut the dragon in half and
Oh,
ate
he
the
goes
prince.
back for more.
Yeah.
Yep. Nope.
Look at that
He's
face!
like,
Like,
what the-
oh,
He's like, oh shit, oh shit.
So my question
Oh,
is,
fuck.
when he go next season, when he comes back to King's Landing, because I can't imagine them going past this moment where he tells them. But if they
no,
do,
it'll be a 10-year jump or something stupid,
Right,
just
right.
for no reason.
Yeah,
But-
probably.
Yeah.
when he goes back, does he go, "Mother, I fucked up," or does he like, I killed him. I meant to kill him."
I don't think he says he meant to.
It's
at
like
all.
those strong boys are only one less, not as strong anymore, only half as strong or something
I
like
think
that.
he'll build up this right here is I forgot who said it earlier where you see it. This is emotion right here, but when he's confronted about it, he's definitely gonna have that wall up. Like he's gonna internalize it, kind of like Damon in a way.
Yeah, I was about to say that too. I feel like he would be like Damon when Damon was accused of making the joke. We never found out whether he in fact did, and he wasn't going to deny it or beg for forgiveness or whatever. He just accepted the anger and frustration thrown at him for having done it. So I think what he'll do is just say what happened flat out without any intention one way or the other. They will assume he did it on purpose or was just stupid,
Right.
and he will just take it.
Yeah, that's exactly what I think too.
I wonder who told for Dara in Team Black that this
That's the
happened?
thing. I
How
was
did
wondering
they know? How did they
That's
know?
spies everywhere.
Well,
You know,
Well, I would have
but
still
I mean,
assumed
but
that
it
they.
didn't. It looked like they were flying far enough off the coast away from Storm's End.
well,
And
they
unless
circle
were,
back, Tina. They do circle back at one point. You know, like, so, like, I don't know how far away they really got. Because he's going through, like, the cliffs and stuff, and...
But there's been a time jump because Damon is back. Remember, Damon also left.
right.
So he's back. And what I think probably happened is that their spies in the court communicated to them here what happened.
Or
after he'd already told
Or
them.
someone
all
at
that.
Storm's End.
Or like Storm's End was like, oh shit, we got to tell them this.
But they didn't know he was dead, though.
No.
Unless
So,
unless Aemon went back and told them.
Aemon should have said, "Oh my God, what? I'm so shocked. What happened to my nephew?"
Yeah, like, oh my God, did anybody else see that bolt of lightning?
Yeah, did you see his dragon exploded? I was like, oh no!
Oh my God, it was the triad or something.
There's no warranty on those.
Yeah.
Somebody said there would be bite marks on the wings, so.
No, I mean,
I like in the chat they're just like, I'm taking an extended vacay to Dorne, and I saw on Twitter where somebody's like, well, that was just Vagar's way of Vagar's thing. He's Dornish because of his brown hair and his brown eyes.
Yeah, Vagar's like, fuck this shit. I'm killing
this
everybody.
shit, I'm out.
You're having flashbacks.
Plus, I'm assuming that dragons take dumps, right? So maybe
yeah,
they found.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, you know, little.
Is that an arm? Is that an arm?
Yeah.
Oh my God, he has a royal ring on. Oh no.
Oh, now I do.
Yeah, right. But then I want to get the look.
Oh, look, there's an eye. That's convenient.
I want to get a look.
What somebody had said in a meme was let him keep his eye. He took his whole body.
Yeah, Vagar says that to him, right? Let him take his eye.
I saw that.
Yeah.
This scene here.
Yep.
When she's told, she takes a couple of seconds to
process. Oh yeah.
And when she grabs her stomach,
yes,
and then puts her arms on her legs, I mean, that is a woman feeling it in her womb that her child is dead. Her 14-year-old, not baby, just born, 14-year-old child is dead. And from the perspective of a mother, I totally was impressed with her act. I mean, she said nothing.
Right, she sold it really well. And another thing is like she is trying her hardest not to let people see her reaction. That's what I took it as. Like, she is holding it, like, not screaming out like, my baby, but like holding that shit in. Like, I am a queen. I can't show them. You know,
I thought she was going to turn around and go, it's Morbin time.
That was the dumbest shit. But here, we'll watch it. We'll watch it. Here she goes. Claim me, mofo.
I love the part.
Like, she is just...
She pulls it together.
Yep.
She has her moment.
Yeah. And
then here comes the dragon.
Fucking Jason. Michael Myers.
Morbin time.
Yeah, she is pissed.
Everybody's about to die now.
Everyone's about to die.
I honestly do not get... I mean, I truly think that she's probably pissed off, but that facial expression does not make me think that she's pissed off, or she doesn't show like her anger or something like that.
She's utterly
she looks constipated.
No, I think she's utterly
she did grab at her stomach. You did grab at her stomach and everything, so she might be.
That was furious.
She's angry.
I did blind fury.
Yeah. Disgusted.
Well, Tina, put it this way. Put it this way, Tina, and then I'll let you finish it. She has done everything in her power to stop war.
Right. And
they took her baby from her. Like, that is fury that no man will understand.
Exactly.
Like, it's true. Like, we will feel the loss of our children down deep in our soul. But that is like a woman who was a queen trying to hold a realm together.
Yeah.
And they took another one of her children, and one that's, like you said, our 14-year-old son, that she sent there thinking he will be all right. That is fury, man.
Well, it's
that
not
is
just that. How much in her mind has duty cost her family? It was
Yeah.
her mother's duty to keep giving birth and everything. She died. His father died basically on the throne.
Yeah.
Still trying to constantly rule. She's trying to do the right thing. It cost her kid that morning. She lost 2 kids basically in a day.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well,
It's the same thing that Rainey's and that went through when they essentially lost 2 kids in the one sort of day. Like,
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's one of those things where it's that deep rage. I took it to be that sort of deep rage that goes beyond what you would just show with an angry face. It's like she almost went something like a flat effect near the end, where it's like the emotions are so heavy you can't show them, and
she was almost robotic, like a Terminator.
Yeah,
shocked.
Right. Yeah,
like almost. Yeah,
well, yeah. I think what
because
Tina was saying definitely rings true. I've known like women who've lost their children. It doesn't matter what age, man.
Nope.
Her gesturing towards her womb and stuff, that was deep. Scott, you're absolutely right. It's something that we as men we could never grasp that. You know what I mean? But that's that was definitely powerful.
Yeah, Tina, I'd like to hear what you say, and then Mason, I know you're trying to jump in.
Just the very end, the bit shows that it's more just disgust and horror, and an entirely life-changing experience, because it's not just Eric's got struck by lightning.
Right.
It's not something happened and Luke fell to his death and Eric's came back all on his own or something. Like, she knows Aemon was there and he did this to his kin.
Yeah, her half brother, like Jay right here said, her half brother. Thanksgiving dinner will be awkward, but yeah. Mason.
So like, I think that look on her face is just like assurance that she knows what she has to do now.
Yeah,
like, she was willing to give up her crown, despite the slight that's being handed to her. She was going to do it for the good of the realm, and she even took a day to think on Otto's offer. If those same people that gave her that offer just killed her son, so now she has to do her duty. She's going to have to, like, there's no avoiding war now. She has to do that.
And I skipped the part where Daemon chokes her because I wanted to talk about that at the end, because like that was her whole purpose, that they make it. I'm sorry, Christie, we have to talk about it, but the whole purpose that they made it was that she's trying to hold the realm together, because it's not just about the realm itself, but it's also about what coming threat from the north may just appear, and they can't be divided. The long night, as she said, like, and then Daemon not knowing it just chokes a bitch. Like, he's just like, my brother told you something that he didn't tell me.
But see, that's what's so frustrating, because we know first of all, this is a very common theory or prophecy or whatever. It's known the whole world over. Everybody has a version of it. He has studied history. He studied literature and Valyrian history. He knows this prophecy. I don't understand what was happening in that scene. The only way I can interpret it is he just didn't want to hear it. Like, we have real things to deal with today, right here on our shores, not, in the future at some point. But his not knowing just doesn't make sense.
Right. Well,
he's finding out that his brother never saw him as a true heir.
Yeah, that's what I took it as. You know what, Jayne, I know you're saying like they all have but it is the prince that is promised a well-known one. I don't know if this is supposed to be now the prince that was promised is Aegon the Targaryen's prophecy. And that's the difference. He didn't share Aegon's prophecy with him. So he realizes in that moment, my brother never, why else choke? Like, I don't understand why else he would choke her.
It didn't make any sense to me.
Yeah.
It didn't make sense. And that whole bullshit about the prince that was promised thing and everything like that, it makes absolutely no damn sense. I'm sorry. If y'all think it does to you, you're more than welcome to do it. But and for me, it's fucking stupid.
Very, very powerful, yeah.
I think what they wanted in this whole line of it's the men who are violent and it's the men who are pushing them to war and it's the men who are terrible. This was just part of it. Just make him a domestic abuser.
Right.
Like, I think it was just that superficial and I don't like it.
Yeah. We're trying to make it deeper than I think.
He can't finish during his special time, and now he's an abuser. It's just like,
wow.
I mean,
I didn't think about that at all.
Yeah.
Jesus.
Daddy Damon is a internet
Fucking
sensation.
incel
And then on top of that, she didn't even respond to it except to like kind of laugh at him. But it's like,
she should have said no. She said no. It's not sexy time now.
It's kind of like there were the meme where the girl turns around, she's filming something, and all of a sudden she goes to the right, and the guy's like, okay.
Yeah.
I mean,
well, I want to pro eraser. That's the point. Damon was the king's heir for quite a while, and then he switched to his daughter. So he never told his brother the prophecy. And how long he was his heir? How many years?
How does that make sense when we've had so many shakeups in the line of succession?
That's true. Like Maegor, offing people and stuff. Like, how did he know? Yeah.
True. Is there some ceremony where they have to put the knife in the fire or something?
Well, but like Maegor took the throne. Like, as he was killing like his nephews, was it like, oh, by the way, throw that in the fire and read it after you kill me?
As you're killing me, let me tell you about this prophecy.
So then Aegon the Conqueror is going to tell his first son Aenys, and his first child was 2 twin girls, by the way. Maegor married one of them, and then he made his sister the heir. So I mean, are they going to know? I mean, it's just so convoluted. And I know we're obviously going to talk about it, and it's probably never going to be in the books or condensed and whatnot. But it's weird to me.
It's something where I felt like they felt like the story couldn't stand on its own with normies, that they had to interject it into House of the Dragon to like get the fans, but they didn't need to add this at all.
I kind of agree with Gary that this is a George thing.
Oh, did he just say that? Oh, I'm sorry.
Oh, I was.
I mean, he did say last night he was going to be here. Sorry, Gary. Can't wait to meet you this weekend.
Maybe that's how you can get him on the show.
Isn't he backstage?
Saturday.
He doesn't respond to any of my calls or anything, so that's fine. Whatever, dude.
No, corner him at the meetup.
Oh, totally cornering him.
Yeah, find him in a corner and go live.
Go live. Go live. Welcome everyone else around Gary.
That would be awesome.
That's how you get him on the show.
Or just like have him like behind me and be like, see, Gary, we're hanging. And he's like way off in the distance. I'm not allowed to get any closer to him. He has people holding me back. Some shit.
I think if you reach out to Mad, he can give you some instructions on how to successfully stalk another.
That's true. Mark, you got to get bouncing. I get that, my brother.
It's dad time.
Yes, I respect that. I love you for that, man. I love you.
Much like you guys, I could be talking about this for a while. You know what I mean? This is a great topic.
I know,
but it's been real.
All right, man.
To you guys, everybody in the chat.
Thank you as always.
Right, for sure.
Have a great one.
Later, guys. Much love.
Same back.
So I just want to say the prophecies thing bothers me. They're bringing it back in. It's a prophecy that we know it doesn't come true, or at least as far as we know in the show. And I just wish they would have left it out.
Right.
Miss Memberberries for sure. I think maybe it could be George. I wouldn't know that. Like you guys,
no, because
might know.
It's the whole thing is designed to make it as Arya, because the way in which they say in Valerian the word prince doesn't necessarily mean a male heir. It's prince and princess. It's used interchangeably. Mm-hmm. So when they say the prince that was promised, they're basically saying, well, it was always supposed to be Arya that did it.
Yeah, Arya is a star.
But she's not a prince or a princess. God, that was the dumbest ending ever. Oh my God! Let's not go there.
Also no Targaryen, right? on the throne
It was.
at the time.
That's my
And
whole
was
point.
there a
I
Night
see-
King?
Now
I
wait,
see-
No.
So
Yes, Jane.
will they do
Jane?
something with the Starks?
Well, the Starks are going to be
retcon
in.
their history?
Oh my God. No, don't do that to me.
What do you think the Pack of Ice and Fire is all about? It's
That's exactly right. You
Well, let's not
I
forget.
call that-
Oh, something does.
I
Shane
called
Nolan
that
did
when
say
I
that
first
earlier.
when I fucking first saw the ending for the pilot episode and that shit came out. I was like, I was so mad. Oh
Yeah. Yeah.
Isn't it weird that the Targaryens and the Starks are the only two like houses that have control over other animals?
Yeah.
Well, that's why. Well, the Starks.
Well, I mean,
That's
I agree with you,
that's a
but
good
I
point.
think I think the easier explanation for that though is that the Valyrians really did use magic to get there, and I think the Starks are just interbred with the children of the forest.
No, it was the War King's daughters. One of the Starks defeated the War King, and they put the sons to the sword and took the daughters to bed, and that was what got it into, and maybe the children too. But that's what.
Well, that's
got
what I'm saying. Like,
yeah,
they're a mix of human and those things,
right?
Ancestrally,
Yes.
versus
that
using
explains
magic.
Sansa's weird forehead.
Yeah, I mean, let's be honest. It made no sense that Arya killed him. I'm sorry, it made no sense at all. And Brandon the Broken. Look, it was terrible, people.
No, not Brandon. And who has a better story than Bran the Broken?
I don't know. Maybe the guy that came back to life after being
Literally
dead.
anybody. Anybody.
Are you really telling me women don't just fall from the sky with knives?
I would have loved if she was in like Walter Frey's face, coming flying.
And that's the thing.
way
She
better.
had her moment with the phrase, like, why are we doing this?
Yeah, if anything, have Sansa do it. Like, you guys took advantage of me. Yeah. So
you're gonna make her Queen of the North. Have her save the North. Yeah, that would have actually made more sense.
Wham and power, boys and girls. But back to this, it's thank God they fixed. Even though they added the prince that was promised, I still am really loving this show, and I just hope it does what I believe it's going to do in the next few seasons, and Mo effers are going to die.
Yeah.
I
feel like we've gotten to a point. They've gotten it out of their system.
Yep.
We're back to the women being strong like they're supposed to be.
Yep.
Rhaenyra anyway.
Right.
And so we now get to see the Dragon Queen.
Yes. And I hope we see the Dragon Queen.
Yeah.
And then on top of that, we got rid of Sapochnik, who is definitely Mr. Like, let's do agenda. And it's Ryan. It's George writing the episodes and one other person. So I'm just hoping it sticks to what George's world is really about.
Did you watch the commentary at the end?
What's that?
The last
commentary?
episode? Oh.
Yeah.
No,
No.
Oh my gosh, it was really funny because I didn't really have much of an issue with what they were saying. It was doing fine, whatever. And then Condell gets to talking about the final scene with Daemon and Rhaenyra, and he just goes, and we didn't give them much direction, we didn't give them any dialogue, it was just the performances. And I went, holy shit, no, he caught the D&D disease.
You know what though? All right, maybe like I'll give him you are the actor, be your character. How do you react? But goddamn, please don't go that route.
That was something that had come up before too, how they have these scenes with no dialogue.
Yeah.
But I do think they're doing it so much better.
Oh my god.
It's not just like staring into nothingness.
Right.
Damon's scene where he had no lines was still one of my favorite scenes in this entire show so far.
The one where he comes down to the war council, beats the shit out of the guy, goes down and kills the crab dude.
Yes.
No words.
The one part where he's opening that little scroll or whatever it is, and just the look on his face, that is, I laugh at that every single fucking time.
Yep.
It's hilarious.
Yep. I know Mason was gonna try to say something. What were you gonna try to say, buddy?
So do you guys think that they're going to do like a bunch of prequels and then get ready to like redo Game of Thrones?
No, I don't think they'll do that, but I believe they're going to do more than now that this has been such a big thing. And if the next couple seasons go well, I could see them doing Aegon the Conqueror or the Blackfire Rebellion.
See, you got to understand, Aegon the Conqueror, if they go back and do it, they're going to have to drastically change something. That Aegon takes all the things, and it was actually his sister wives that did it all, and in the end, he was the one that just that just did it. It was actually their dreams, but
yeah.
Like if they do Aegon, they're only going to. The only reason why they do that is to change what we already know, because that's the only MO to go back.
The Duncan Egg?
That's
story?
separate, but like this is
but Duncan Egg is way later than this, isn't it?
Oh
yes,
yeah. That's a couple decades before the Robert's Rebellion.
I don't think they're going in any particular order though, but there are a ton of sequels.
But then again, Snow's coming out as well.
That they have in mind.
Yeah,
Duncan Egg is great from what I've read in it.
But it's not finished.
It's never going to be finished.
I don't need them to do anything that's not finished.
Oh, well.
How much is left for Duncan Egg?
We don't know.
We know.
Yeah.
Okay.
All we know is they're going up to Winterfell next.
I think the rumor is that it's supposed to end at Summerhall, I think.
Yeah, that would be.
But I don't know if that's actually true or not.
I mean, that would be the best way to do it, but that's like 2 decades at least later. Like that's a lot of story. He will have to jump.
Yeah, how old would they be? How old would he be then, though? He's already pretty.
It's not decades later. That's like 100 years later.
No, Summerhall from you're talking Duncan Egg?
Yeah.
Yeah, Duncan Egg is the one that did Summerhall.
No, what I'm saying though is like when it's supposed to end. What I mean by that is, are there?
Are they going to keep going king after king in this series? You're saying?
I know that's maybe I'm completely wrong, but I really thought I read somewhere where it's supposed to go throughout and it's supposed to end with what happens at the tragedy of Summerhall.
Yeah,
itself and all of them dying and
this series?
No, not this series.
Duncan Egg.
In the Duncan Egg, Duncan Egg story itself.
Yes, that makes sense because Egg is the king that caused Summerhold. Yeah. So it would only be like
Spoilers. God.
Oh shit, that's so obvious.
Yeah.
Actually, it was his wife.
Duncan is 64 at Summerhall.
Just gonna say Duncan would be pretty old.
I mean, he was only in his like late teens, early 20s though in the book. So damn, that's a lot of time you have to do to get to Summerhall. Okay, we're time. We can do this all night.
Scott is like, I gotta
get up at like 4.
All right, so now we're going to talk about the Jon Snow series. All right, we'll go around. What's everyone's theories?
But I'm gonna have to talk to the wife about adding a streaming night and doing Aluminum Spork on another night because I'm enjoying A Song of Ice and Fire again. So maybe going through with people who don't know the lore, going through the lore of Westeros might be something we can do.
And,
doing some dramatic readings, perhaps.
Yeah,
I would definitely say, and not necessarily having it every week.
Yeah,
I think that would help just as far as like.
Yeah, I was thinking about doing like maybe. Oh, you know what? Maybe I don't have to add another one. I'll do 1 week. We do this. The next week I do Aluminum Spork.
Yeah, something like that.
So twice a month we talk conspiracy, aliens, and ancient history, and then next one we talk about A Song of Ice and Fire. Maybe we'll do it. All right.
There's no bad choice.
There's no bad choice when it comes to listening to this voice. Anywho, okay, shut up, Christie.
Except when he's reading 50 Shades of Grey.
I'd like to thank everybody for coming out, but especially Gary. Thank you. I mean, when you come and hang out with the panel, us lesser beings. Jayne, you can finish it next time you're on this channel. I can't. Thank you, guys. Guys, give Gregory, show him some love. 50K. Zaxx over 20K. You guys are doing fantastic. I am just a YouTuber's YouTuber, and I'm just that. You have to be hip enough to like me. Thank you, Christie, for coming on and do your thing. Tina, I love you. Thank you. Mason, we will keep you around, my friend, and we'll be doing every 2 weeks we'll be doing stuff. But next week we will be doing season and maybe some season 2, what we think might happen, difference from book to show. So it might be spoilers. So be prepared for that. Jayne, love you as always.
Will you be doing a show on Saturday from Orlando, or?
I probably will not, unless one of the guys will set up the show and I'll just come in. Oh, we could probably do that actually. Yeah, maybe I'll do it that way. So hopefully there will be a dump on Saturday live from Orlando.
Very cool.
Very cool. Thank you everybody for coming out tonight. Again, thank you to the people that shot me some tips. You can tip all night long, so feel free to keep doing it. Because I don't have any pride left. No, just kidding. Thank you everybody, and YouTube, you can bite it. Have a great night, everybody, and see you next week for some more.
Good night.
Good night. Thanks, guys.
Cheers.
Adios.
What was that?
Hide
Wow,
your
you
kids. Hide your kids. Hide your wife.
Okay.
Did I for that here in Lincoln Park?
Was I supposed to do a different one?
Gary, stop texting me.
Oh my God, Gary's here.
Tell him to leave. Call me, please. Screw the Bears. Oh yeah, we should have sent him a link. Sitcom Zaxx.
I count. Go.